All righty, everybody. We are back at it again with another fantastic tournament being hosted by Eldritch. Shout outs to Eldritch for hosting. This is definitely a bad tidbit. How do you pronounce This is totally a bad idea.
This is definitely a bad idea tournament.
I understand the branding of this tournament. How's it going, Eldritch? How are you feeling?
I'm all right. How are you?
Doing good, doing good. Do you plan on hanging out for commentary for all the matches or just popping in and out whenever? It's up to you.
Yeah, I'll hang around for all the matches. You know, I'm excited to see how these racers do. I think that they are going to be... this particular set, Randomizer deliberately decided that he was just going to forfeit all but 2 of his races just so that he could get a really good seed. I don't know how this is going to work out for him because Sotn is a strong player.
Really? So, because the preliminaries for deciding seeding was based off of, it was 5 different seeds, right?
Yeah, you had to complete actually all 6 different seeds, right?
Okay.
Because you had to complete the boss rush, and then it was a relay, a closed relay, so nobody knew what their times were, and they all submitted them through a Google form. And what ended up happening is that Randomizer submitted forfeits for 4 of his 6 seeds.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. Yeah, I'm working on the voice audio right now, chat. So let me know if it's better now. So yeah, we're starting with a boss rush as like the kind of like the tiebreaker in a way to determine who picks or who bans the first preset here. So both of these players, we're not going to be seeing them, you know, exploring much or any of that stuff. It's going to be purely based off of combat, and it looks like the starting weapon is like what, Jewel Knuckle?
Yeah, it looks kind of like Jewel Knuckle. It's not double hitting a whole lot, and
I don't mind Jewel Knuckle. It's a little bit more precise to get the double hits than like just your raw fist by itself, but you know, it gets the job done. Like, you should be comfortable using your fist in Symphony of the Night for combat if you're a speedrunner, so shouldn't be too bad. I mean, spells are the most important part of boss rush in my opinion anyway. It's just spell execution. Helps make all the... I was going to say it helps make all the boss fights very consistent.
Yeah, boss rush, because it eliminates all of the high-end weapons, right? You're not going to find a Girthing in boss rush. So you have to focus on mediocre weapons or poor weapons, and in some cases, it's just simply better to use your fist and spells.
Yep. Yeah, right here, Sotn starting off with a pretty standard fight here. Same with Ren. Going to be doing the Tetris Spirit into just punch him a bunch, and it works. And already we're seeing Sotn with a slight lead, and I think it just came down to execution in the castle entrance hallway. That really was like the deciding factor so far.
Yeah, there was a lot of ideas being thrown around, like, do we even skip the entrance and go straight into the first boss with Slogger and Gaiban? But we decided that we were going to add a whole bunch of Easter eggs into the entrance to kind of preserve that element of the game, kind of like how we preserve prologue in a lot of these, right? Where it's like, you know, technically you're not supposed to be playing as Richter, but
I do find it interesting. Sotn did pick up the Spirit Orb. Not that it like actually helps you in any way, but we do get to see damage numbers here. And, you know, 15 damage per punch, that's not like a ton. You're already seeing the Tetris Spirit doing more damage. Oh, but Sogdin's Tetris Spirit locking onto the eggs from Hippogriff and not actually the boss itself is unfortunate. But still a pretty solid lead from Sogdin.
You think those spirits were hungry?
Oh, yeah. Trying to get some scrambled eggs. Yeah, and we're seeing the first safe room from Ren. Sogdin already went through it, and those are like the few places where you get a chance to like actually get new items or weapons or whatever, and not really anything important. It was some food and I think a heart max up. Oh yeah, you never want to use Tetris Spirit versus Karasamon in that way when he's summoning the birds, because the Tetris Spirit is a very powerful spell, but it gets really confused when there's more than one target on the screen. And just like that, that was enough for Ren to take the lead. Just barely. Wow.
And here we see Randomizer moving into Scylla. What strategy will he use? He uses the Tetris Spirit with a couple of punches and kicks to the face.
Ooh,
Talisman coming in from proper OP there.
Wow, yeah. I usually like setting up the Tetris Spirit from the ground and not that platform, just because it's a little bit easier to dodge some of the attacks, but I mean, that ends up working out just fine. We also saw Sogdin actually doing a lot of extra item checks. This is one of those things where there are a handful of places where you have the chance to find some items, even though it's, you know, not necessarily in a safe room, but I don't know how I feel about this. I mean,
I'm not a huge fan of this strategy, especially using the vial stacks this early.
oh
I think that
no,
this is a
versus
waste.
Scylla? Yeah, Scylla has like what 200 total HP.
If that.
Yeah, I don't know if it's worth it. And like, yeah, that's
For a
always gonna be a
meal
meal
ticket.
ticket. Yeah. And yeah, Ren is like really solidifying his lead here. Not really finding anything of value, but he seems comfortable enough as is. So
Yeah.
not too big of a deal here.
Keep in mind that the boss rush was created as a preset before we were actually able to force randomized items to pick from a selection instead of being from the totality of all items.
We
So
saw the
you could
random. Oh, I was gonna say we just saw the random sub weapons in the alchemy lab area, and Ren decides to go with Bible, but is not using the Bible versus the guy who's weak to. I'm very confused because I saw the stopwatch there, and my first thought is none of these sub weapons are like super powerful. Like you don't have holy water available, so I would just grab the stopwatch. I have enough hearts for hopefully to use it versus like Doppelganger 40, and at the very least that'll save you some time. If you don't have access to something that's like generally useful across the board. But Ren also going down for the items, but not grabbing the secret $5,000 chest out of the candle. Interesting.
Yeah, that's really interesting to me because like that $5,000 is usually the more important of those checks.
Oh yeah, because I mean we do get one final stop before Shaft and Dracula where you get a chance to buy some stuff, and the shop is guaranteed to have like access to vial stacks as well as a few other like key items. So like you kind of want, if you're going to go down there for the money, like that's going to be enough to at least get you started. But either way, yeah, we're seeing Ren choosing to use the Bible now a little bit here and there to help buff his damage.
Yeah, we saw Sugden there. He used the Bible to the effect of nothing because he used it while the Lesser Demon was invincible, summoning things. But he does stop and grab those two candles, getting $7,000 out of it, which is huge.
Yeah. And I mean, Sugden's only one boss behind. Ren does find a lot of cash behind that breakable wall, but we'll see if that ends up being the make or break point. I don't know. Yeah, this is usually where I choose to use my first vial stack in general, is versus second phase of All Rocks. Just because, like, especially if you don't have a sword, you want range to hit his second phase, because he's constantly moving in these awkward ways, and if you don't have enough range, you can end up just kind of getting hit out of stuff. So
and make them your
slaves. It's infamous because Olrox is the first first disc final boss, right? Like, he is the boss of the first castle that you have to fight. Richter can be hard, but you never fight him. You just kind of do 10 hits on the orb and you're done.
Yeah, usually, yeah. Grand Floon can also be tough, but mostly because Grand Floon's like out of the way to hit sometimes if you don't have the right tools. So, thank you, Razan, for the sub, by the way. Much appreciated. Shout outs to Eldritch for putting on this tournament. I'm super excited to be here.
Taking advantage of the fact that we fixed the Sunstone to provide +1 to all stats.
Oh, really?
In Boss Rush.
That's funny. I didn't know about that. I would have assumed that the Sunstone is just as useless as it is in the main game. Yeah, and just like this, I mean, not using the Vial stack versus Aurochs, and Sugden is able to like catch up. If Sugden used the Vial stack here, oh man, I think we'd have a tie race.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't hate the idea of opting to just try and use spells and like brawl it out, but I don't know. I usually like to save my MP specifically for Grand Floon, and then you just Tetra Spirit like 4 times, and Grand Floon goes down pretty easy. But choosing the Vial stack in the other order, where you fight Aurochs and then Vial stack Grand Floon, feels a little silly to me. Yeah, because it wasn't even enough to kill.
Tetra Spirit just focuses on the center, which is really where you want it to focus, right? You want to get that layer off of the core, and then you want to fight the core itself, and Tetra Spirit does the whole thing for you.
Yeah, Tetra Spirit AI is interesting to say the least, because usually when there's multiple like possible like things for it to hit, it'll just like go crazy. But for whatever reason, versus Grand Floon, it just like homes in on the center, which is perfect.
Here we see Renanchel using the Hellfire to get past the Holy Cross, which, usually I prefer to go for a timed summon spirit to get through that because the entire screen is only hit once, and then I save my hellfire for the hydrostorm.
If you're really ballsy and you want to save as much time as possible, you can just tank the hit because the screen freeze from the summon spirit is technically suboptimal.
Yeah.
But yeah, I also am a big fan of, Ren's starting strategy there of during the hydrostorm, use the hellfire to dodge the hits. Because at this point, they don't have mist and power of mist, which is usually like the casual way to dodge that.
Mm-hmm.
So using hellfire for the iframes and then just, managing to do enough damage to get him out of phase 2. And Ren moves on to the second castle bosses now.
Oh, he just picked up a heart refresh. He can go beat the game.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, I remember watching your initial playthroughs of Boss Rush, and it was a contest that you kind of made with yourself, where you were like, "Let's see how far we can go to break this."
Yeah, I wanted to see how much of the game was explorable throughout Boss Rush, but you guys did a pretty decent job of locking you in.
Yeah, insert the trope. The devs think of everything.
Oh yeah. Yes, we have Sugden on the left, fighting Richter right now. Richter, very similar to Doppelganger, where if you just jump, like, Richter is also going to respond to that in kind with another jump and stuff, so.
I love that tech that Renanchal just used against Akmadon, where you summon Hellfire and then you hold up so that you get the fireballs that linger there for a minute. It is such a good strat.
Yeah, I'm always scared to go for it because you have to act out of the invincibility at the end of the Hellfire quickly, or else you get grabbed very easily, so.
Yeah.
Ren getting stoned here. Didn't duck in time. I don't see why does he get more double hits if he's standing up? Is that the idea for not crouching and punching? Because I just crouch punch the whole time.
So.
Yeah. That could be some interesting way to speed that up, because I never thought about that. Because if I usually just have my fist versus Medusa, I just like crouch punch the whole time. But maybe there is a way to get extra double hits if you stand up. Interesting.
I mean, it's been said before, Renanchal has probably more experience with the randomizer than any of us, right? Like, even the people like me and Weecock and all of us, like, we play the randomizer to test our stuff. But he's the guy out here playing these presets on a regular basis.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he definitely... in my mind, he's the one that has a lot of the experience, a lot of the science behind the randomizer as well, like counting complexity, all that stuff. So I wouldn't be surprised if he also has like a lot of interesting boss rush specific strats and stuff like that as well.
Interestingly enough, boss rush was one of the least practiced presets before the tournament began.
Yeah, I can understand why, because like, if you really think about it, if you lose the boss rush race, you're not losing a race that ends up like mattering for your score for the final tournament match. However, Ren's got to be careful here. Soul Steal failed 3 times in a row, and that's enough for Death to get a kill. And is that enough for Sugden to take the lead, actually?
It's possible, but Sugden's having a time of his own against Akmadon.
And he falls right into it. It's over. There's nothing you can do.
Yeah, once you get grabbed and you're at that low, you're done.
Yeah, especially seeing how much damage he was already doing. I'm sorry, what now?
Whoa!
Oh, it's the damage number glitch. That is a Akmadon specific glitch that I don't know what causes it. I still to this day don't understand. But like, there's I've had a bug where it'll like show that he's doing every time he swings you around. I think it's like thousands of damage per hit. Sugden, it survives somehow. I can't explain it. The Symphony of the Night is a game built off of SpaghettiOs and duct tape. None of it makes sense. I don't get it, man.
Because Sotn.
Yeah. I was not, because I saw the damage he was doing. It was like, 20 damage per like swing around. Like, you're so dead. Yeah. And then he lives on 15 health. And the Talisman proc coming in clutch too. Wow.
Here we see Renanchal. He's right back where he was. Meanwhile, Sugden's still fighting the Medusa. Renanchal, come on, guy.
He's going through it right now. Using the
It's not that
elixir.
hard.
Yeah. Honestly, I don't know how I feel about this. Maybe a mana prism would have been worth it, but is there a reason why they're taking so much damage? Do they have like negative defense right now?
I haven't been looking at their armor.
Yeah, I'm curious if they have like a talisman Alucard. No, I mean their starting gear. I guess it's just bad. Sometimes I forget that the second castle they just do damage. I'm used to having at least some amount of armor, because armor makes a huge difference in this game. Like, the difference between having 0 and, like, 5 defense is, like, every single hit that you take is, like, 5 less. So, you know, the difference between taking 25 versus 20 over time adds up, you know?
Well, I mean, that's definitely one of the reasons why God's Garb is not even allowed in the preset, right? Because, you know,
you would just be, like,
taking 1.
Yeah, you're just invalidating the difficulty here. See, this is where I would wonder if all of the damage from the Bible that they've gotten, do you think it adds up to the amount of time saved potentially by just using a stopwatch here on Ren's screen? I feel like the stopwatch would have already saved enough time.
Yeah, like Doppelganger here, because he goes into iframes immediately after you hit him, and he has this, he gets those opportunities to break out of the loop. I mean, I would have gotten the stopwatch.
And it's not like your weapon is particularly high damage, so like the amount of times you're going to have to hit him means that there's more times for iframes, which is like exponentially increasing the length of this boss fight. Where I feel like if you're able to kill him in a single stopwatch, it's like you spend 5 seconds on the fight versus like 30 seconds on the fight.
Yeah. Now that Damascus sword that Renancho picked up, that is actually always there. The reason why we put it there is because if you're stuck using fists against Galamoth, you're not going to have a good time.
It's doable, but it's really tough. Like, you can set up the stun lock on Galamoth with just fists, but it's ill-advised.
See, here now he's regretting using that Vile Stack earlier. This is probably the most common spot we see racers use Vile Stacks. It's just because, like, they separate up, they get apart. You have Scylla's or Sypha zoning you while Trevor's doing whatever he's doing.
Dude. I'll say it, I think Trevor's the problem in this boss fight. Ralph
Trevor
Belmont
is a
over
really
here.
Strong hitter, and he has way too many hit points.
Yeah, he has I think him and Sypha technically have the same amount of hit points, but I think he has more damage resist or something like that. And then for whatever reason, Grant is like 30% less HP. But yeah, Grant is like whatever. He's annoying, but he's very predictable. And you can just kind of like deal with him a lot easier.
No, I'm interested in seeing what the strat is for bees here.
A heart refresh to use more sub weapons is actually pretty strong, especially when you know that the boss is weak versus holy, since every sub weapon damage is holy. So actually using the you got to be careful though. Standing right underneath Beelzebub is, in my opinion, ill-advised, because yeah, you have the Bible kind of protecting you, but don't. Oh wow, the Bible literally saved him from a fly or from a worm poisoning him. Because Beelzebub is constantly dropping these worms that are really, really hard to see, and if you collide with it, you just get poisoned, and being poisoned, like, lowers your defense, it lowers your attack, it lowers all of your stats, and on top of that, you don't get any passive MP regen. So being poisoned is really, really tough to deal with.
Now we see the PC track strats to get to finish him off, and the exit.
Yeah, honestly, if you have enough MP, it might even be worth to just like wing smash them the whole time, but it depends. Honestly, you could even use, because I saw an int potion, an intelligence potion in their inventory, pop the int potion, do like a soul steal, and then just wing smash back and forth.
Exactly.
Something like that could work. But here we go. It's time for everybody to chill, take a break. Ren's going to be headbanging with Galamoth for a while. Meanwhile, Sugden is on that trio fight now.
Interesting fact, in Boss Rush, we actually lowered the hit points on Galamoth if you went the long way, but if our racers took the short way, which they're not allowed to do during Tidbit, he would have had the full 12,000 hit points.
Yeah, it's good that his HP is lowered, because, like, otherwise, with the worse weapon pool, it would take forever.
I do like this strat of having the Bible out, just in case, you know, you get that little extra nick on him.
Oh, yeah. I usually try to, like, not send too many hitboxes his way, just so I don't accidentally, like, mess up the rhythm, or like the Bible doesn't accidentally hit him in a timing that I'm not expecting. So very rarely will he break out from just that alone. But you don't even want to give them the chance, because I don't think the extra damage is worth it. Because if you break out, or if Galmoth breaks out from that infinite, it's actually over.
Yeah.
Wait, I just realized
we do provide them a barrel circlet, but that
Sotn is immune to dark damage.
He must have picked up dark armor somewhere.
Yeah, he must have, and he's not taking advantage of it because he walked through the trio. Like he walked through reverse
oh, that's curse damage.
Oh, is it curse damage?
Yeah, that's curse damage. So that was the Heart of Vlad doing its work.
Oh, you right. Never mind. That's Heart of Vlad. I didn't realize. Yeah, I guess fake Trevor when he gets summoned off of Scylla or Sypha is curse damage and not dark damage. I always assumed it was dark.
Yeah, if you get hit by that, you not only take huge damage, but you also get cursed.
That's annoying.
And here we see Renantral jumping in straight into Shaft. Did he pick up a good weapon?
Shield Rod, Iron Shield.
Okay,
I mean,
yeah, this is a good combo. I like this.
It's good enough.
Glitchless strats for the win, right?
He's setting up a little too far to the left, so this might not one cycle. Yep. This is why you guys gotta learn to speedrun the game. It'll help you in your randomizers. Yeah, you should kill this guy in one cast, not 3. But hey, being a randomizer expert does mean maybe sometimes you gotta not understand every last little bit of nuance in the game, and having specific normalized strats that come from speedrunning can help in specific situations in randomizer when they come up. Especially when it is the fastest thing to do.
Yep. I had to fight with him to get him to submit any percent. Like, it was literally like, dude, you should submit any percent. And he's like, well, I already submitted glitchless. And I'm like, yeah, but if you submit any percent, if you, consistently do better at speedrunning, you get more skills.
It helps. I do think that it's not enough to only speedrun the game and then all of a sudden you'll pick up the randomizer and be a god or whatever. You do need specific randomizer understanding and tech and stuff like that. But yeah, like Ren, I think he's definitely already like 2 casts more than what is standard in glitchless. Granted, in glitchless you do have the dragon helm, but still. Like he wasn't optimizing the spell. Like he almost didn't one cycle. So just to put that into perspective, like you should always get a one cycle with that spell if you have enough magic to do so. But man, it's just one of those things.
Yep. But there we go. We have the person who is going to get to choose what to ban first.
Yeah, thank you, Blades, for the brawler boss rush. Thank you.
GG's.
All right, we have both of our friends here. Let's go ahead and document it in the tournament channel. But Renantral, what is your ban?
Area random.
All right.
Can I do?
And then Sugden, your ban.
I'm gonna ban Magic Mirror.
All right. So now we start with strikes. Renantral.
What wizard I want to play?
No. You pick which you're gonna strike.
So which one you don't want to play?
I don't want to play. It's hard. This is my 3 best presets. Crash Course. I don't want to play Crash Course.
Okay, Crash Course save for later. What are we racing, Sugden?
I would like to strike Aperture and play Beyond Game 1.
Let's go.
Beyond Game 1. All right, I'm gonna go ahead and generate that seed for you, gents. Give me just a second.
How much time do I got? Roughly.
Probably not a lot because we fixed the speed issues.
Okay, do I have enough time to get some water?
Yes, go get water.
And also blow my nose?
Maybe.
Yeah, we'll see what it is. All right. I'll be back in a sec.
Beyond preset.
They're starting now. It looks like it. Yep. A little bit of an early start on our end for Sugden, but at the end of the day, it's probably just difference in like connectivity to the Twitch server or whatever.
Yeah.
Twitch delay can get a little crazy sometimes. It might be worth at some point refreshing both streams, but just to see if you can get the delay time closer, but it's whatever.
Yeah, I'll do it after prologue is over. We also kind of have to keep in mind that there's just large cables underneath the ocean, which are the ones carrying this
carrying the signal. Exactly. Yeah, like Sugden is in the UK, I believe, and Ren is in Brazil, and you're based out of the US, I assume.
Yep.
So lots of traveling of tubes, all that fun stuff. And it looks like we're getting a quick refresh here to get a more precise perspective here.
Oh, yikes.
Unless...
Circles.
Twitch would never fail us. There's no way. The perfect live streaming platform, twitch.television, there's no way. Uh-oh.
It's paid for by Amazon, literally paid for. Uh-oh. Hold on.
It'll be fine.
Fortunately, we're not missing much because this is beyond, right? Like, this is Safe 2.0,
oh,
practically.
Yeah. And there we go. It looks like they're a little bit more synced up now, perhaps.
Yeah.
Here we go.
All right, so this is the Beyond preset. This preset was developed by Weecock and Forat Negre in the Long Library. With a couple of tweaks by me to fix some logic issues and those kinds of things. But basically the idea is that it's a safe seed with death missing, as we saw on Sugden's screen. It is going to have a lot of items and some particular logic changes based off of a relic that is changed. So we're going to be able to see these racers kind of go through one of the harder seeds that they're going to have to face during the tournament.
Yeah, so. It's a safe logic seed, so a lot of things are pretty like standard or understood. But there's a lot of new items as well. Like we already saw, the first weapon to drop was the Balmung, which is not in Symphony of the Night. These are all like reskins / appropriations of older items, items that are normally in the game. Usually buffing weapons that are normally considered like not very good. So. In this preset, you oftentimes end up finding like something decent pretty early on because of that. So,
something like a
Ren goes for the IQ check, and there is nothing there. Classic IQ check. The reason it's called the IQ check is because you need a very large IQ in order to even consider checking something so secret.
Now that is a leftover from the glory days, season 1, season 2. People were calling it IQ even then.
Oh yeah. Very, very true. Thank you, Evil Crow.
Here we go into the boss fight with Slogger and Gaiben. I find it interesting that they're not using the Balmung, though, because it is basically just Firebrand.
Yeah, it's, maybe they're forgetting that they picked it up. Maybe they saw Balmung and they're like, I don't remember if this is good or not. Yeah, 71 base damage is pretty good.
Oh, it's not. It's a two-handed sword. Oh god.
Yeah. True. Still, it would have been better for the boss fight because the sword they're using right now, the Falcion, doesn't have like a great hitbox or anything like that. It doesn't like double hit, so you might as well just pick the higher damage number for boss fights. I can understand wanting to keep your other hand free for shield dashing because combat in this game isn't like the most important thing. Movement is more important, so I understand the idea. Realizing that, I kind of agree that you kind of just like deal with the slightly worse weapon but have faster movement is the idea.
Well, not only that, but like Balmung being a copy of the Greatsword, which means that it has that huge ground lag whenever you swing it.
True. It is a great sword after all. It's great.
So
thank you for the sub, Real Mijuwara Gaming. Is that how I say it?
We don't see anything here, so we have to go down and make sure. There it is, gravity boots.
Yep.
That's a great starting relic for this, I'm not going to lie. I love this as a starting relic.
Wow. This is your... Sugden is choosing the forbidden route? And so is Ren? Are they... What? Are they both... This is... some advanced randomizer gaming that I have never thought of before. You could just gravity jump back the other way, right? You don't need to go and do a full loop. I don't think the loop is faster, is it? No, there's no way. There's no way. Why is it called the forbidden route? Because if you're never supposed to see it.
Yeah.
If you see this area, you're probably doing something wrong.
Oh, the mana prism.
Oh,
They
never
both
mind.
saw the mana prism.
I'm dumb. They're geniuses. Holy big brain, ginormous 7-head brain play. Oh my! I did not notice the mana prism. Never mind. They're geniuses, both of them. That's awesome. Ren going for an extra item check real quick. Luck potion, never lucky. And just like that, Sugden is pretty handedly in the lead. And it makes sense, too. You get gravity boots. You want to check the Alchemy Lab checks, which is what I was thinking they were going to do. But I thought in the other direction, where you just backtrack through the other way. But actually, now that I'm looking at it, 5-6 minutes into the seed, like, that's not a terrible... Like, doing the full loop isn't that bad. I wonder if it's time to be faster in some weird way, because you do have to go back up the other way after grabbing like the spirit orb check, and that takes like 40 seconds almost to go grab it and come back. You have to go
all the way back up, then you have to cycle back around,
and then you have to
potentially take the elevator or the left side to get down to Skillable.
Yeah, maybe Forbidden Route is actually just the move. It's crazy.
Jewel of Open. Wow, this is a seed of all time. We have Jewel of Open. We have Out of Logic Flight. We also have a transformation. We can check anything.
Almost, yeah. And that's the thing about safe logic seeds is like when you get access to one or two like out of logic options, especially Out of Logic Flight tends to be one of the more powerful ones. You get to make some assumptions. Like if I was playing the seed, I'm under the assumption, okay, finding Jewel of Open locked behind gravity boots probably means that like Leapstone, for example, is probably in like the caverns, if I had to guess. So I don't necessarily have to go to the caverns right this second because Leapstone doesn't actually unlock anything for me right now because I could always take advantage of the untransform dive kick state that gives you infinite gravity jumps in the air.
Exactly. Now I want to check flight checks because I know that could potentially be my next layer.
Oh, Chad does bring up a good point. I'm going to put the preset on the screen. Good point, chat.
BT dubs.
Yeah, we're playing Beyond. So what's the complexity here for Beyond again?
Beyond, I believe, is locked in at 7 or 8. I think they lowered it to 7 because generation times were heinous for 8.
Yeah.
So.
Understandable.
But if you want to find out what the level of complexity is for any preset, you can actually go to symphonyrando.fun/presets and find out for yourself.
Very true. Very, very true. Yo, what up, Trails? Thank you for the raid. Hope the stream went well.
So here we see Renanchal deciding to go up into Aurochs while Sugden is taking his sweet time heading on over to the library. We'll find out which one of them is correct.
I prefer Ren's strategy here because there's nothing in the actual like progression chain so far that makes me feel like Outer Wall or Library is like required right now or would be very useful right now. Maybe Sugden does want to just chase the complexity as intended and go into the caverns. No. Maybe just wants to do the extra item checks first and then go caverns.
There he goes.
Okay.
He's headed for caverns.
Interesting. Not the worst play ever. It can pay off for sure, especially because like I'm under the assumption that Leapstone is the next step in the progression chain. But actually, it theoretically could be Bat. There's nothing stopping it from being Bat as the intended form of flight.
Not only that, but Sugden, if he goes into caves, he does have access to Succubus, which Succubus is Jewel and Flight Lock.
That is true. So it is an extra step in the complexity chain. So it is an out of logic check there. So yeah, we're seeing Sugden do that right now. Ren also opting not to finish the Aurochs quarter section off either. Interesting. Yeah, see, if I was playing the seed, I'd probably be like, I don't need Leapstone. I'm going to go do Aurochs because those are flight locked. I'm going to go do Castle Keep because those are flight locked. You get a really important warp along the way. Then you do Fire of Bat. Then you do Outer Wall. And you might even consider skipping the library at that point. I tend to be a little bit of a boomer in the sense that I don't skip library hardly ever, even when it ends up being really good.
Well, they don't need to unlock any of the teleporters because as soon as you find the castle key, which is a very important relic in this preset,
that is so true.
it unlocks everything.
Yeah. Okay. then in that case, that changes the way the complexity could work out. Because with this setup right now, the mines is also locked behind the castle key.
That's right.
So it's possible that the caverns itself has the key, and then that leads to the mines, which has more progression that way. Oh.
That's true, because like you will never find catacombs and mines locked behind gravity boots.
Mm-hmm.
It isn't possible to get over to that button to be able to press it.
Yeah, obviously you can do it with the out of logic flight. You can also do it with solo wolf with a really precise high jump with the wolf with momentum, but that's not in logic necessarily. But
correct.
Yeah. Yeah, this Beyond preset adding like custom relics, custom weapons and stuff like that ends up changing the vibe quite a bit of these randomizers, even though it feels very familiar. It feels like it's just a safe logic seed.
Mm-hmm.
Because I would have definitely struggled in a seed like this, forgetting that the warps are unlocked by the key itself.
Yeah. I when I play Beyond, I constantly find myself in teleporter rooms before they're accessible, and I get there and I'm like, dope.
Yeah, it's one of those things where like you just have so much muscle memory playing other randomizers or even just the vanilla game where you have to unlock the teleporter manually by entering it. But ooh, I see an Asafune katana in Sugden's inventory. That could be useful.
I mean, that is good iframes.
Oh yeah. You could also do a lot of double hits by doing the back forward special attack, and it's quite a bit of damage too. And the rib of Vlad, I'm sure the boners are very happy to see that. They are rising up right now.
It's so funny to me because Osafune has 2 specials and Masamune only has 1.
Yeah, but Masamune is just better because the normal slash is basically like a special attack.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Hamburger in the caves?
Ooh, I see that sprite and do you gamble? It's a 2/3 chance that sprite is godlike. 1/3 chance that it's the best weapon in the game, Heaven Sword. And Sugden says, nah, I ain't going for it. I don't got the snorkel. It's quite a ways out of the way, so... Yeah, that Nunchaku location can be quite tricky. And who cares? Who needs the Chrysogram when you can get the Hallbeam Dagger dropped from a frog? Even better. Okay.
A little bit of a freeze there on Ren's part.
Yeah. Sugden is opting to go down to the mine using the debug bridge break. Interesting idea, because this is out of logic. So either this can mean a couple of things. If I'm in Sugden's shoes, I'm assuming, okay, the waterfall, going down the waterfall, going to Mermaid Statue location, that is just Leapstone, so I'm just going to go down here or something, maybe is his thought process. Maybe it's the castle key itself down there as well, and I wonder if he's like calculating for that, and maybe he's like, well, I'm just going to go as deep as I can out of logic down here and hope for the best.
Yeah, early mines and catacombs is usually an interesting move. The other thing is that you're going to get more relics for the time spent if you go down here this early, so...
Yeah, it is more relic checks, but unless you feel confident with like a, way to get to Spike Breaker, going all the way to Granfalloon just to fight Granfalloon and come back empty-handed oftentimes does not feel great. It's one of the reasons why very many are a fan of skipping Granfalloon altogether. It's because it's quite an awkward check to do.
And Renantrel heading for the Heaven Sword.
Ooh, wow. Congratulations. You just grabbed the best weapon in the entire game. I hope he uses it. It would be a throw not to. Because like the thing you don't understand about the Heaven Sword is you can throw it, and then it comes back to you. And it does damage.
And it hits the enemy the entire time that it comes back.
Yeah. So
that's the important bit.
Yeah. Well, if you really think about it, he just needs one more Heaven Sword, and then it's truly broken.
Yeah, absolutely. It does the most damage. It covers the whole screen. Hits multiple times.
As much as I meme on it, double Heaven Sword's not bad.
I will use it on Dracula.
Yeah, using it on Dracula is not terrible. You can use it on Shaft as well pretty well, and I think it takes like 2 casts to kill or something like that on average. Something like that.
Yeah, like the biggest thing to remember about the Heaven Sword, double Heaven Sword special is that at the end of the special, there's that little line, little laser beam style line, and that does hit for damage the entire time that it's out. So if you have a nice full screen boss like Granfaloon or Beelzebub, you can use that special all day.
Oh yeah, for sure. It's not bad in those situations. And both of these players taking a ride on the boat right now. Ren didn't go down into the mines, right?
No, he did not.
Yeah. Oh,
and there's
mist. Wow. So that does unlock one check right now, which is the Soul of Bat. However, it's very possible that a lower level location in complexity has like Spike Breaker, and then that could mean that Silver Ring is also in logic. Very interesting.
I mean, we all know that if it was Dare Drac in this race, he'd probably try for Silver Ring.
Yeah, chaining the Hellfires isn't too bad. That strat, at least, if you have enough MP to go for it. But these guys are pretty low level, so I don't know how much MP they have total, now that I think about it. Because they've only killed, like, what, 2 bosses?
Yeah.
Sugden's killed Cerberus, at least, but...
Like, this is the weird thing about safe style presets, right? Like, you go down there, you're thinking, like, oh, yeah, this is probably Flight or, something like this. But then you could end up having it just be something like Mist. And it's like, oh man, I didn't want it to be Mist. There's Soul of Bat right there at entrance. Out of logic, by the way. So he has Flight, out of logic Flight.
Yeah. So that means Leapstone or Power of Mist is probably at Soul of Bat location, if I had to guess. If I'm Sugden, I'm going back down into the mines and doing Spike Breaker now.
Exactly, because Spike Breaker, now that we know that Bat is locked behind Flight, being a Flight item itself, it doesn't unlock anything at this level. We've already gotten Wolf. We can guess that somewhere Echo of Bat is just randomly lying around on a Flight layer or below. Yeah. And that means that Spike Breaker is unlocked by this.
Yep. It's possible. We could also, it's also possible that it could be just a higher level in complexity where Echo is in like the second castle or something crazy.
Exactly.
Yeah, I think it's worth going for. Did Sugden go all the way over there to save split and then go back to... Yeah, I guess that's not the worst idea ever, because since they don't have the warps available to them without the castle key, that is the one downside of going all the way to Spike Breaker, now that I think about it. Is like if you don't have a library card as well, or wait, there are no library cards in this. Oops.
Well, they have the Memorial. The Memorial is actually really solid. Once you understand the mechanics of the Memorial, it's actually better than a library card in a lot of instances.
Oh, for sure, yeah. It's essentially a save split with all of the upsides of keeping your stuff. Is just like the best way to think about it, which is huge.
So this is turning out to be quite an exciting not bounty hunter, Beyond Seed. God, we did bounty hunter for 8 years and
way too long. I'm sure that's done some permanent damage to the psyches of everybody racing this game.
Here we see Renanchal having to go through that fight where Sugden's already done it.
Yeah, this is as close as it gets, because I don't think either of them have a advantage on any checks now.
No.
Well, I guess no. Ren did go up into Coliseum.
Yeah.
So, and then Ren just did that check. So now they're... Yeah, Ren is still ahead on one check total, but it's like the one in Coliseum is not that lengthy, and you can combine it with all the All-Rock stuff. So overall, it's still very, very close. It's anybody's game, really. And depending on what Sugden decides to do here, doesn't full save, good, because he already has that other full save. So with that in mind, if this ends up being like barren, this entire area down here, he has a very good save split to get himself out of the situation. So, and opting for Granfaloon first, I don't hate it.
I think they're doing item checks.
Oh, well, they were doing item checks, but also interesting.
Ren's going Granfaloon.
I'm from Sugden's perspective, it makes sense that the odds of Granfaloon having anything in logic is relatively low. or at the very least having anything that you absolutely need is relatively low. Like worst case scenario, it's like Spike Breaker or like Echo, but like you don't need any of those. Maybe it's a random Vlad that's also could be pretty bad. It could be glasses just like chilling on a shared layer, especially if this is minimum complexity 7. You can have a couple of shared layers of complexity for important key items. So, and we find Silver Ring. Okay, that probably leads to like one of the final parts of complexity then.
Yeah.
And then we'll look on Ren's screen and see what Ren decides to do here. I imagine after getting Silver Ring, you're obviously not save splitting. So now the question for Sugden is, does he go all the way to Grand Floon or not? I mean, if you don't have, Chakram Heaven Sword combo, I'd be scared of Grand Floon personally. So
Yeah,
Ren, on the other
absolutely.
hand, with the optimal combo.
Chakram, definitely one of my favorite weapons in the game. It demonstrated to me when I was playing casually, like, no, they literally just said, hey, that's a cool idea. Let's put it in the game.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, and it's Heart of Vlad.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
This could
no.
be the end. Unless...
No.
Wait,
Where
with a
is
safe
he
split.
going? Where's he
No,
going?
he's doing another safe split. That's what he's doing.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Jesus. Whew.
That makes sense.
Like, I really want to see this be a close race. I don't want to see, like, oh, well, I didn't do this one check and therefore lost.
No, it's not. It's still very, very close. Because Sugden still hasn't done the Spike Breaker location. So,
That's
like, they're
right.
still pretty much even overall.
Yeah. Once
Yeah.
we see Ren do the Spike Breaker location, they're probably going to high five at the top of Catacombs.
Mm-hmm. And we did see, Dracula Tunic in that one location. I mean, Drac Tunic's, like, pretty much always worth it. It's, in my opinion, the best armor piece in the game because it gives you enough defense where you don't really need to worry about anything, but it also gives you attack boost as well, so.
Yeah. The Dracula Tunic and the Fury Plate both give it an attack bonus. The good thing about the Dracula Tunic is it also gives you an intelligence and con and what's the other stat? Luck bonus.
Mhm.
So I like them both for, just trying to put up the damage, but yeah, for sure.
I think,
Dracula
isn't
Tunic,
it?
one of
It's
the
only
best.
one additional attack bonus for Fury Plate. I think it's like literally just +1 attack.
Yeah, and Dracula Tunic is +1 to all of the other stats as well.
Yeah.
So
So it's not like a fantastic, like, oh my god, this is make or break. The other thing that's nice about Fury Plate is once you take damage, you have a brief period of time where your defense is increased by like 5x or something like that.
that's right.
So it's very difficult to get like comboed to death while wearing it. Sugden is kind of struggling. We were memeing about I would never meme about Heaven Sword, but the Heaven Sword combo low-key doing big things for Ren because Ren is, in my opinion, right now pretty solidly in the lead here by a couple seconds at least.
Yeah, like whenever you come across, Heaven's Sword, like a lot of people like to meme on it, right? Because it was considered one of the best weapons in the game if you were hardcore casual, oh, look, it's a floating sword. Well, so is Rune Sword, so is Chakram, technically. Those are throw-to class items according to the inventory sorting system. But they do offer way more range than normal swords.
Oh, yeah, exactly. And, like, sometimes you just need the extra range, and it's not like the damage is bad. It's not bad at all.
Correct.
And it has the chance to multi-hit. Like, it has its bonuses. It's just that it definitely gets overvalued oftentimes from players that don't know the depth of how broken the weapons in this game can be.
Yeah, like when you first get it, you're sitting there astonished, right? You're marveling at the existence of such an item. But then, like, once you start looking at all of the other weapons, their capabilities, their damage values, the specials that they incorporate,
Oh, yeah.
it's very easy to just kind of say, oh, well, it's actually not that great.
Yeah, like another underlooked weapon from even within the randomizer community for quite a while. My old ass remembers when we didn't even know that Girthang, for example, ended up being as powerful as it was, because nobody at the time really understood that it had that buff built into it where if you have Dark Metamorphosis active, you're doing 2.2 times damage and you get a double hitting hitbox. So
Yes.
it's pretty wild.
Well, I mean, I still see, casual players today you know, they come in and they're like, well, I've been farming with Girthing for, you know, an hour and I haven't seen an increase in attack. It's like, well, did you farm with the Muramasa?
Yeah, different blood sword. You got the blood swords mixed up. Now, Muramasa,
you know,
that is the best weapon in the game. You just have to, you know, play the game for 60 hours, farming blood the whole time to make it work. But, you know, it's worth it.
Yeah, just go to the octopus room for 69 nice hours. And,
999 attack.
I think you did a speed run of that. How many hours was it at the end? Like 7?
Like, no. We did 24 hours of just farming blood for Muramasa, and it went from like, because I think I started it in like the 200 damage range, and 24 hours straight of farming Muramasa, it got to like 880 damage. So it was not enough to get it to 999.
Oh, wow.
And the thing is, because I believe it's on a logarithmic scale, it takes longer and more blood per additional attack level up. So
That's right.
I think I'm actually in the realm of like levels at like 800 something. You're halfway there to 999, maybe even less. Who knows?
Yeah, it does increase insanely every time you get a boost. So.
Oh yeah. Have they been to library yet? No, nobody's actually seen library yet. Which is interesting to say the least. They don't necessarily need to go to library right now. Like, there's nothing in the logic that's like, hey, you got to go to library, because they found out of logic flight. And the way that the seed, at least the way I'm reading it, is that flight is in the that location.
Yeah,
it's probably like
flight
Leapstone
was
or
very
something.
likely Power of Mist or something ridiculously slow and not fun.
Yeah, it's either Power of Mist exists at Bat or Leapstone exists at Bat, is probably the two options, unless it's like Spikebreaker or somewhere, and then those two options are at Silver Ring. Those are, I think, all of the viable options right now for progression. Well, actually, it could be Merman Statue, which then leads to Flight, which would be hilarious, but also annoying.
Yeah, I'm actually highly intrigued to see what's behind Aurochs. I want to find out if it's going to be like Holy Glasses or something similar to that.
Could Holy Glasses be at Bat? No, because then they would have no way to get in logic Flight.
That's right.
Unless Holy Glasses is at Bat and Spikebreaker exists somewhere on like a viable complexity layer that's only locked by Gravity Boots.
Yep. Because they would have to either go to Solabat or Silver Ring.
Yeah, those are the two locations that are mist locked in the first castle, or just in this randomizer in general. So because of that, there has to be progression behind one of those. The reason being is because they found mist in the caverns, and the caverns was locked by the Jewel of Open, and the Jewel of Open was locked by Gravity Boots, which was the first relic, and that's Spikebreaker. Okay.
Yeah,
Spikebreaker was Flight/Transform locked. So that does mean that Soul of Bat has to be either Merman Statue, which leads to Flight, or just Flight by itself. Those are the last two options.
That also means that Silver Ring, I think, is going to be Echo of Bat.
It can be. It could also just be Glasses.
Olrox is Flight locked and Transformation locked. We had Soul of Wolf on an earlier level, and we found Soul of Bat on Flight level. So...
yeah, we still don't know what Echo... Echo could be second castle. It could be here. These are all still possible. Echo could also be Merman Statue locked. It could be at Holy Symbol.
Yeah.
There's a couple of options available. I wouldn't be surprised if this was Merman Statue. I wouldn't be surprised if this is Gold Ring, perhaps.
Or Gold Ring, yeah.
Because we could just see Echo at like a lower level or something like that. There's a lot of options here, but this will be Echo. Okay, you were correct. So that does mean that more than likely Holy Glasses is vanilla.
Yep.
Which probably means that the other rando ring is just in like Castle Keep or something like that, or Library. One of the places they haven't checked yet, so.
Which they did leave a lot. Oh, there's DB Daly's hat.
Yo, it's your boy. The DB Daily hat, it doubles the sell value of your sellable gems, correct?
Yep, that's
so
right.
Big money, big stonks for Ren. And we don't know what's in the shop yet, so that could end up mattering quite a bit. I mean, they've been playing the seed for a while. I wouldn't be surprised if they have at least like one sellable.
Yeah. Like, who knows? Maybe they'll be able to afford the respawner.
Something like that, yeah. What the heck is the respawner again?
It puts all of the items back on the ground.
Oh, that's what it is. Yeah. So if you pick something up, you can just pick it back up again.
Yep.
Oh, that means you can get the second Heaven Sword, actually, now that I think about it.
Yep.
Hold on. Iron Shield drop for Ren, actually, from a random bat.
By the way, beautiful Maria skip there done by Renontrol. Just zipped right through her. Like, sorry, can't talk now. Bye!
Yeah, if you wing smash through the pickup animation of the life max up, the game will just consider you in whatever state that you're already in, but it'll take control away from you to try and like walk you over towards Maria. But if you're in the middle of a wing smash animation, walking over towards Maria just means you're still wing smashing in that direction, and then you hit the load zone and leave.
Mm-hmm.
It would never come up in like a normal speedrun of this game unless you're doing like intended percent glitchless or something like that.
Right.
But in my mind, the jury's out whether or not that's considered a glitch, but it definitely would be allowed in like a no major glitches setting for sure.
Oh, there's Death's Robe. That's actually pretty strong.
If I remember correctly, Death's Robe increases intelligence mostly, right? Sugden with also a Maria skip, by the way.
Death's Robe will prevent, I believe, cut damage.
Oh, that's what it is.
Dark damage, I think.
Being immune to cut damage is crazy.
Yeah, like you just ignore spikes altogether.
Spike Breaker too. We have Spike Breaker at home, but it's actually way better.
Mm-hmm.
Well, there's an Onyx, so at the very least, Ren has some pocket money to mess around with.
Yeah, but will he bother to spend it? That's the question.
True. Ren doing even more item checks. Really?
I don't agree with this. Like, we've already got a whole bunch of money. We've already got a whole bunch of items. We've already got, other things going on.
Yeah, there was nothing of value in that addict area,
Like, I understand that it's 7 item checks, and that's meh, okay. But the cost of getting in there.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. Like the time it takes. I don't know. I'm of the older school opinion, which is like as soon as you find a viable weapon, you just stop doing item checks altogether. Like, yeah, you might miss out on a library card or a mana prism or something, but like most of the time that doesn't end up mattering.
Yeah, like, those items don't matter if you beat the seed before your opponent does.
Exactly. And this race is still incredibly close.
Mannequin. That is one of my favorite items that they added in this preset. The mannequin offers an opportunity to do a few things out of logic that you wouldn't normally be able to do, and it's very entertaining to see it happen.
I'm sure my chat is screaming at the fact that they all, both of them skipped the karma coin over there.
Rude.
Very
So
rude. We could have had a Gamba inside of our Gamba.
Yo, dog.
The mannequin is interesting for sure. I feel like at this point in the seed, it doesn't like particularly matter. But
No.
it is a funny. It essentially works similar to like the Puppet Master ability in like Dawn of Sorrow or Portrait of Ruin. For those that know how that works, you throw out an item and then you end up in that location where that item lands.
All right,
So.
we found our random ring.
Yeah, very likely we're going to be seeing Holy Glasses in its vanilla location. There is still a small chance that it's Merman statue, but I haven't been doing the complexity count, so I have no clue if that's would make 7 to get to glasses if that were the case, right? Because we have Gravity Boots unlocked, Jewel, which unlocked Mist, which unlocked Flight presumably, which unlocked Bat, which unlocked Echo, which unlocked Rings at 7.
Yeah. Well, yeah,
Right.
because we need to get to Spikebreaker as well.
Yeah, exactly.
So
that would mean
Bat took us into Olrox. Olrox gave us Spikebreaker. Spikebreaker gave us Silver Ring. Silver Ring had Echo. Echo gave us the other ring, or the Complexity Ring.
Is that 9 complexity? Am I stupid, or did I miscount?
It might be. Like,
I think that is 9 complexity, right? Because that would mean that the last Vlad is just in the second castle.
Yeah. Sometimes, like, this is something that a lot of people, seem to forget. Like, yeah, there's a minimum complexity, and if it's above 5, the randomizer will typically aim that direction, right? But it could be higher.
Swarm saying this would be a good library skip seed. I kind of agree, yeah, because that library, like, doesn't have anything too important, but Sugden putting on the hat. Ren does not. Wait, no, Ren already had the hat on.
Ren had it on already.
Okay.
He put it on as soon as he found it.
Cube of Zoe in the shop. Let's see if the shop's got $200 mana prisms and Chrysogram. Hold on. The shop alone makes it kind of worth it. You definitely get the mana prisms for sure because you have Bat. Honestly, double Chrysogram mana prisms, I'm like just moving on with that.
Yeah, this is where Renantral is. He's just like, I'm going to buy all of the mana prisms ever. I'm going to buy 2 Chrysograms, and I'm going to go beat this seed.
99's a little excessive in my opinion. I think like 50 is pushing it. Especially when you've done most of it. Yeah, especially if you've already done most of the first castle. I probably would stop at like 35 and be like, that's enough.
He also has a memorial, so he has the opportunity to do one of those fancy save splits like we were talking about.
Oh, true, yeah. If you have a memorial card, save right here. Because you have to do the full save animation for the memorial card to register it, right?
Correct.
Yeah. So I would save right here, and then I would go straight to glasses. But they're both checking behind Lesser Demon? I mean, unless... Maybe you're thinking, okay, this has Leapstone. This is like a, 40-second check at most to get Leapstone, which will probably save me time throughout the rest of the seed. I could see it being worth it. But no, it was Power Mist.
Power Mist will save them MP. Like, if they didn't buy all those mana prisms, this would matter more.
Yeah.
But it still matters a little bit because, like, if you miss the D-transform out of Mist into Bat, that's still a lot of time wasted where you have to go through the whole animation of Mist.
Mm. So. Yeah, I think in my testing in like Glitchless, for example, the time it takes to grab the power of Mist is like a 20-second detour, and like that's not enough time for it to be worth it in Glitchless. And that's like, much more MP intensive and stuff like that. Or MP,
exactly.
What's the word I'm thinking of? Like management. You have to do a lot more of that, so.
Yeah.
Are they completely tied at this point, now that I'm thinking about it?
Except for, I think they've all done the exact same checks. Sugden decided to grab the Spirit Orb.
Why are you taking the elevator, bro? It's 1 floor down. Oh my god. This is a complaint I have in real life. If you're going up 1 floor, you don't need the elevator. Well, some people might, and that's fine. But I don't think Sugden, with the ability to fly like Alucard can, you don't need the elevator. You're good, bro. Just get your steps in for the day.
And this is something that like... You see this a lot more from newer randomizer players where it's like, they take that elevator every time. Oh, it's faster. Really? Is it though?
It's really only faster going up.
You got to wait for it to land and then it has to settle. Then the doors open.
Yeah, I mean, that's like the difference maker right now in movement wise. But now it might just come down to whoever menu's faster. Nah, not really. I mean, Sugden made up some time there for sure. So it's not too terribly far off.
No.
Yeah. Oh, Mystic Pendant's great. I mean, you have infinite mana prism, so it won't really come up too much now, but still, like Mystic Pendant doubling your MP regen natively is pretty good.
Yeah. Cue elevator music while we all wait for the clock to open.
Oh yeah. 39 minutes into the seed, you're clearing first castle almost entirely. You can be pretty confident that Merman statue is bait. If you did like even just like a passive complexity check in your head, you're like, dude, I'm on like layer 9 right now. What the heck is going on? There's no way that Merman statue is anything.
Right, exactly.
So,
and there's that memorial right there.
Oh, Sugden opting not to use it though.
This could be a difference maker because Renantral has 19 of them.
Oh, did Sugden not buy any?
Maybe not.
Oh, yeah. 19! Ren, you're going crazy with it. Oh, and the save is already right here. That's pretty big. That's pretty big.
That's massive for him.
Yeah.
He just outplayed Sugden so hard just because
that,
Beyond.
you know what it is? Yeah, that's definitely the Beyond experience. Just having played this preset a lot, knowing that probably the most important save to have is probably right here in case you find a memorial card.
I mean, it doesn't matter if you're in first castle or second castle. Having a save in one of the keeps is always a good decision in this preset.
So are we seeing a seed where the castle key is just not in it's not in logic for progression?
Yeah, like castle key completely out of logic, just lying around somewhere on somebody's stoop.
That also locks them from being able to warp in the second castle as well, correct?
That's right.
Wow. Well, if you can't get any of the warps, I think the vibe is left side, right?
Yeah, they're going to go left side, and here's the other reason why. Left side is literally stacked in this preset. We have the Batmaster originated spread extension, which means that they're literally...
don't do it, Ren.
Don't fall for it.
Do it. Well,
he does have a memorial, though. He has the memorial.
But it's still like a 5-minute detour, man. It's so slow. It's so bait. There's no way this is a 10 complexity seed. There's just no way.
Okay, right now I would put monies to dollars. It has to be Leapstone or something ridiculously out of logic that.
Oh, he's not doing it. Never mind.
Okay, he's going right side.
Oh, because he has the memorial cards, he wants to just have that save. So he's basically doing the right side standard, but instead of getting the warp, there he's using the memorial card setup. That's not terrible. And we're seeing now, Sugden is just now getting to the Richter encounter. So, probably like 2 or 3 minutes behind from not having that optimal memorial card set up.
Yeah.
Wow. Just goes to show, like, that really was a skill check right there. Just, like, knowing the preset well. It's not over, especially if Sugden decides to do left side, which, I mean, in my mind, I'm thinking, I don't have a warp. I'm just going to do left side. I know that everything is just chilling in the second castle that's left. Left side is higher density, and also it's the optimal route for, like, all bosses, so...
Right.
Like, might as well.
This could also be Renantal trying to play the player, because half of racing is knowing, all of the tech and the preset and all that, and the other half is knowing your opponent. And maybe Renantal knows that Sugden will go left side. He's banking on everything being right.
Yeah. There comes a time where you have to ask yourself, like, if I know how my opponent plays, can I trust myself to outplay them on a mechanical standpoint, just like better execution, better wing smashes, better routing decisions early on? Oh, and we are seeing that left side, right side split. Yeah. So this might just come down to, like, where do the relics happen to lie in the castle? So it's still anybody's game.
Here we see a
nothing
card
so
of
far. Yeah.
Not looking good.
You're saying it's the old Batmaster spread locations? Uh-oh. Sugden, chill, bro. Chill.
Yeah. So we're going to see 2 extra checks in the library. Now, if Sugden forgets those checks and Renantal remembers...
Yeah, honestly, respect. Power of Mist is, in this room in particular, for those of you that might follow Super Metroid speedrunning, there is a room in Super Metroid that the speedrunners refer to as the worst room in the game. And that room reminds me of our worst, because it is the worst room in the game for Sotn.
I'm trying to think if that's I don't. I want to say that I disagree with that, but I can't think of it.
No, it's the worst room in the game.
Because that is the room where, like, every time something bad happens to you, you get turned to stone, you get hit by a Cloaked Knight, you just end up at the bottom again.
Yep. And the Cloaked Knights do a ton of damage. If you're stoned and get hit, you have like 0 defense. Like, it's our worst room in the game.
Yeah. And even worse still, in adventure and tourist presets, like, you're like, okay, here I go. I have to do this puzzle now.
Oh, yeah. Sword card for Ren. Nothing on the right side so far. Left-siders are...
the castle key. This seed just opened wide open for Sugden.
Yeah, now it doesn't matter. Left side, right side, none of that matters. You can just warp wherever the hell you want now.
I mean, he could go straight to Galamoth and or straight to the death fight and drop down for perfect density.
Yeah, maybe after doing a creature check.
Yeah.
That would be pretty solid. And maybe if you're nervous about it being on right side, you could just use that to your advantage as well. So, not getting the snorkel for the fans, I would have grabbed the snorkel.
Because like, and this is something that we've discussed, but we don't see the situation come up. You can drop to bees from reverse entrance, and it's way faster than climbing the stairs.
Climbing the stairs from reverse entrance? Yeah, I could see that. Yeah.
So like, this is huge for Sugden right here. Yeah, Randomizer just taking the L on left side or on right side there. Now he has to either use the memorial or use a teleporter to get over to the reverse outer wall. This is not good.
Unless outer wall has nothing, because like creature can still have nothing, and then yes, Sugden has the castle key, but it's not necessary for finishing the game. So
it's not necessary for finishing the game, but he still has that huge advantage where he could go down to the teleporter and take that straight to death instead of going all the way down the long hallway through Black Marble Gallery.
If Ren decides to go straight to specifically Doppelganger and Force of Echo, and those two have the relics, I think Ren still wins this.
That is a possibility.
Oh, but he's checking creature. He's got Rando Brain. No!
Rando Brain is a serious condition. If you believe that you or a loved one are suffering from this.
This is the issue when you do too many seeds. Your big brain that you acquire for doing all those seeds starts to leak out of your ears. And yep, Sugden's already in the caverns. Or in the mines, I mean. Yeah, it's kind of Jover, perhaps? Unless he's going up to... See, I skip Galamoth here.
I skip Galamoth every day of the week here. I go for density.
I would go for density too, but then I realized, I'm looking at it, you're missing 2 of the 3? Or you're missing 2 of the 5 relics, and that you would only be doing 3 out of the 4 checks here. Maybe you could get away with doing a cheeky save split.
Maybe.
The other thing is Sugden doesn't know how close this is. So like,
yeah,
it comes down to just like your vibes. Oh no, and Ren's doing all of these checks. Never mind, Sugden is just big vibing.
Max chillin'.
The only way this doesn't work out is if Sugden gets like nervous about right side and then decides to go not do the rest of the caverns after killing Death and then just go do right side. That's like literally he has to outplay himself.
Yeah,
this is all in Sugden's court right now.
Yeah.
And looking over at the current prediction in my chat room, 99% of the coins are in on Ren, 1% on Sugden. So if Sugden steals this, the economy in Garnet Coin is going into the trash.
Invest now! Invest now!
There's the memorial card from Ren. So he's not... Wait. But that memorial card's going to take him back to Castle Keep?
Believe so.
Which did... Oh, and then he's going to First Castle?
This could be huge, because Randomizer is going back to check the Merman statue check, which
I don't
we believe to be bait, but if there's a random Vlad there...
Oh, and I would have lost the seed because he was at Galamoth. I would have skipped him. Oh my god. This seed is a nightmare scenario.
No, wait. Could this be an Agonized 2020 seed?
It's possible, maybe.
Where you have to go to both Galamoth and Merman's holy symbol.
Yeah, it's possible, but like, jeez. For the first random seed of the tournament, man, it had to be this. Literally the first seed that isn't Boss Rush. We get this. Oh, man. I'm wondering if they're regretting the pick for Beyond as the first.
Yeah, like, okay, I understand why Sugden banned Magic Mirror. I understand why, because it is literally one of Randomizer's favorite presets.
It's also incredibly volatile. It comes down to finding the Magic Mirror as quickly as possible to get the most density out of your checks. But so it's one of the scarier presets, in my opinion. When I was prepping for the thought of maybe entering the tournament, I was like, man, I might end up banning Magic Mirror, even though I like it. It's a fun preset to play, but in a race scenario, it feels so scary.
It's terrifying, because what if they got their logic chase right?
Yeah,
Like,
because
you
it's
know,
also a lower complexity preset as well. So like,
Yeah.
it can get real scary. So I can understand being like, oh, Beyond, it's kind of like safe logic, and then you get into the end game scenario where it's nothing like safe logic at all.
Exactly.
Oh
Like
man.
the end game scenario is all density after you get the mirror. It's literally like get the mirror as quickly as possible. Now do everything.
Masamune
There's
found.
Masamune.
Not that it really matters, but it's fun. You know, it's chill.
Masamune, my second favorite weapon in the game.
It's a good one. It's a good one. It may have taunted me for many a speedruns, not dropping when I needed to, but I still love and respect it. It's a great weapon. So Sugden turning off the Spirit Orb, remembering, oh yeah, if I wing smash through these Rock Knights with Spirit Orb on, it can crash the game.
I have had it crash without Spirit Orb, but I was actually going particularly fast.
Yeah, I mean, that's a...
Oh, it's Holy Symbol! It's Holy Symbol Galamoth!
Somebody count the complexity. What in the hell?
Holy... I have no words. Renanchal now
Gravity
has the
boots.
opportunity to steal from Sugden. Sugden's not going to think to go all the way back to Holy Symbol from where he is. He's going to realize at the end of all of this density that nothing mattered. He needed to go back.
1 Gravity Boots, 2 Jewel of Open, 3 Mist, 4 Power of Mist, 5 Bat.
And
plus,
here goes Renanchal. Here's Renanchal in the cave.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
no.
Bat and Echo are on the same layer, I'm realizing, because they were both flight/transform locked. Because
Yeah.
your form of flight was form of mist, which then
Oh,
means...
but Renanchal's not going to Galamoth. He's doing all the rando checks now.
into... Right? No, because it was... They were the same into... Yeah. No, because it was Spike Breaker there. It wasn't... Yeah. So they weren't the same... They weren't on the same layer. But it didn't matter, so Bat isn't in the complexity at all. So then it becomes Spike Breaker on layer 5 into... Echo layer 6 into Spike Breaker layer 7 into Rings layer 8 into Merman Statue layer 9 into Vlad Relic layer 10. It's literally a 10 complexity seed.
Jesus. I have no words. These guys are high-fiving in the reverse caverns, and they don't need to.
Yeah. If Sugden doesn't go back to the first castle anytime soon, it's literally Jover. I would have been so mad playing this. I'd be like, okay.
Where is Sugden going? Is he going full right side now?
Maybe, yeah.
Reverse right side dropping down from entrance? Oh my god.
Well, maybe he's gonna do Beelzebub, and well, he also has the key, the castle key. So maybe he just wants to get to the warp room. I don't know.
I can't take this. I am 40 years old. I'm going to have a heart attack from watching this race. That's what's going to happen.
Everything I know about Randomizer is just melting in front of me, and I don't... Dude.
I don't like this. Can we make Sotn great again?
Beyond his minimum complexity is 8 currently, according to Weecock. So... Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we ended up with a random 10 complexity seed, but you know, that's whatever. It's chill. It's vibing. It's living. It's thriving. Unless I don't know how to count, which happens very often. But I don't see a world where that's 8 complexity.
Oh my god. I can't take this.
Jeez. I mean, it's just a matter of time that Ren has done literally every check in the game, right? Except for Beelzebub. So, or not Beelzebub,
Galamoth,
sorry, Galamoth. I saw Beelzebub on the screen and my brain it exploded.
Oh, it's bees. Oh
Yeah, Ren ends up taking this. I'm like 500% sure here now because Sugden's not going back to the first castle.
Not yet. No, he's gonna finish doing right side reverse. He's got to go through Trio and Akmadon and Medusa before he realizes he made the whoopsie. I mean, we all would have made the whoopsie, right? Nobody went back for Holy Symbol there except for Renanchal.
I need to ask him if he was counting complexity or if he was just if that was just a Hail Mary. Because like, in what world do you count the complexity and be like, well, that would make it a 10 complexity seed? That sounds right to me. when the minimum complexity is 8. I have seen randomizer presets where, like, yeah, the minimum complexity is 8, and then you end up with a 9 complexity seed every once in a while, and it's like, dang, that's unlucky. But 2 steps above?
I mean, the average complexity on Bounty Hunter is 5.5. It's typically 5, about half of the time it's 6, occasionally it's 7. So it's not unheard of that it goes above complexity at the mid to low complexities, but in these higher complexity seeds, it's really rare for us to see these, 9s and 10s.
Oh yeah, like the I mean, maybe it's different because Beyond has like different logic, having like the key and stuff in logic, so maybe it ends up being more likely, which I'd be surprised if that was the case. But from everything I know, back in the day when complexity was first introduced, it's like every time you're above the expected complexity, it's like an order of magnitude less likely, according to like the algorithm that makes these seeds. So it's like, okay, if we want to say like 1 out of every 10 times it's like a 9 complexity seed instead of an 8 complexity seed, that means 1 out of 100 times it would be 2 over, which I guess is like reasonable, but still incredibly rare.
Insanely rare.
Yeah. And we're gonna see the memorial card here, which is next to a warp, so you might as well.
Yeah, like he already has the key now because he's been to left side.
Yep.
He just goes to the warp, teleports to the center of the castle, and wins the seed. Insane.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I guess it's just the power of the memorial cards getting him around as quickly as he has been, because like Sotn still has Medusa and the first castle left as far as checks in the game. So being 2 checks up when they were pretty much, well, they were tied at one point, but then Sotn did lose like 2 minutes not having the memorial card set up. So it makes sense. I think the memorial card is the true winner of this seed. Yeah, giving you the freedom to just route things much more openly than you would otherwise.
But what a race, guys. Like, I mean, having that Galamoth Holy Symbol split at the end of this seed, after everything that we saw these racers go through, this is insane.
Yeah, it looks like Sotn didn't buy any memorial cards at all, or just forgot about them or something, or didn't see them in the shop.
Maybe he didn't even register. Like, maybe he saw a memorial card and dismissed it as, oh, it's not a library card, skip it.
Maybe.
Because we, with all of these items and relics changing names, admittedly guilty, we've seen how people can lose track of what is what.
I mean, yeah, you're relying on your base game knowledge, but this randomizer is testing a new set of knowledge that requires its own careful consideration. And Ren obviously put in the time and the effort to consider how to route memorial cards into a preset like this, and got rewarded for it.
Yeah,
that's a long-winded way to say skill issue.
Skill issue, 100%.
Yep.
Oh god, and now he's got the double chrysogram. We're gonna see Shaft and Dracula melt before our eyes. Chop suey.
It's never been more over, chat. It's never been more over.
God.
Dude, I feel so bad for Sotn.
Right?
Because, like, as soon as you find that other relic at Galamoth, you got to be feeling pretty cool about that. Like, okay, I found one of the relics early. I just got to find the next one. It can be anywhere, but like I have an advantage there, and then it just fucking melts away because it's all the way at Holy Symbol. And Ren, the Mad Lad, checks it early.
I mean, but we saw this with Dinner Dog, right? He skipped Galamoth and went down for density, and it was at Galamoth. Like,
it's a rough call, but it happens.
When you have to chase the math, right?
Yep.
Oh.
And it's the best you can do. It's like any luck involved type competition. Like, you have to, when you're playing poker and you get drawn like 8-2 offsuit, like, yeah, you can technically win with that hand, but the odds are not in your favor. Same with like, beelining it to Galamoth. Like, technically you can win with that play, but the odds aren't going to favor you every single time.
Exactly.
GG's to Ren for taking the first match here.
Yeah. Now we get to see Sotn choose what the next preset will be.
Yep. We're going to get a quick pick and ban system check from these two once they are ready. And then we have at least one more race coming up right now.
Yep.
And it looks like they're getting into it, and they're doing Crash Course, as we said earlier. Yeah, interesting preset, starting with Soul of Bat, Mana Prism, Duplicator, Buffalo Stars. Basically, the Nimble preset start, very similar to that. Except instead of it being the standard location checks like that you would see in like Safe Logic, it is all of the equipment check locations plus the additional what's the extension called?
Tourist.
All of the tourist checks as well, which is additional 7 or 8 checks. 13. I know how to count.
Yeah, the idea behind the tourist checks, we already understand that equipment is what it says on the tin, right? It's all of these locations that supposedly had equipment in the vanilla game. We're going to go ahead and put a relic there.
There is still an asterisk next to that, but for the most part, most of the equipment in the game, there are some that are missing.
But what I designed Tourist to do was to take players to interesting locations around both castles.
Gotcha.
Singular rooms that you don't find in any other place in the castle, like the confessional and the telescope.
And we're seeing a library card at the very beginning. That can be quite powerful because they have duplicators. So this is going to be a very fun. If I'm seeing library card that early, I'm like, oh heck yeah.
Yeah. I actually want to knock about 10 minutes off of the estimate for that.
Ren immediately library carding? I do not agree with this.
No, I disagree 100%.
Because there's all the other checks that you're missing out on that Sugden is doing right now. You missed out on, the Ruby Circlet.
Yeah.
And now library. I probably still would have checked castle entrance, but I guess it's right next to a warp. You're probably going to warp at some point anyways. It's negligible if that ends up being important or not, especially because all of these checks are in logic anyways. It just comes down to do as many checks as you can as quickly as you can.
Exactly.
Honestly, if I don't have money, I'm not checking the shop at all for anything.
Yeah.
Because I already have the library card. That's all you need, really. I mean, at best, you're also maybe looking for another throwable for damage, but it's whatever.
I could potentially be looking for vial stacks, but the likelihood of you finding vial stacks or another throwable while you're doing all of these equipment checks, as we just stated, it's very high, right? Like, because you're already in places where items are going to be, you don't need to do additional item checks.
Not only that, it's like vial stacks are great and all, but like double Buffalo Stars oftentimes is good enough versus like every boss in the game. Like,
yeah, most bosses, it's not worth the equip time, the menuing time.
Yeah, even just single Buffalo Stars is good enough versus like 90% of the bosses. Like Lesser Demon down in like a second.
Mm-hmm.
And Power of Mist is found. Not necessarily progression, but could be useful later on for sure.
Yeah. Now, here's something interesting about the tourist locations. There was an idea that I had to put a relic right in front of the fountain in Olrox's quarters, but I had to take it out.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because if Silver Ring or Spikebreaker or any of the items spawned there, it made all of the candles along the bottom of that area disappear.
Yeah, so it was too like obvious of a tell.
Yeah.
Yeah, there was back in the day, there were some issues with spawning progression items, which is why sometimes items just don't spawn in, like certain item locations will just be empty, is because the game randomly, or the randomizer randomly disables certain items as to not give you a tell for what's in that area. So back in the day when you needed to delete items, if you saw that, oh, there's a deleted item in this area, that means this area has to have Holy Glasses, Spikebreaker, Silver Ring, Gold Ring. So for a very brief period of time, every single area in the game was missing 3 items, I believe. And that was brutal. Because early game, Alchemy Lab missing 3 item checks. There were times where all 3 of the major item checks you do in Alchemy Lab were just missing. So like the beginning of the game had no items. And you would go like 10 minutes before you found like anything, even like like sellable or anything like that. It was pretty brutal. But this newer system where randomly items don't spawn and stuff is a little bit different. So,
Yeah.
and we're already seeing huge routing changes between the two of them.
And it looks like it looks to me like Sugden. Oh, maybe he was. He stood there for so long. I thought that he was misaligned because you have to be almost in the exact center of that elevator for it to activate.
Yeah, you can't be all the way against the wall, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah.
And if you're too far to the right, then it doesn't activate either. There's like a sweet spot that you have to hit.
Wrong direction. There we go.
Yeah, it's next to the
Nothing at
telescope. Yep. And Ren didn't do any of those lower checks, right? Did I miss that?
No.
Yeah,
Not yet.
So maybe he thinks I have library cards, I can check it later. I'd rather just go to places that have higher density, maybe?
It's possible.
Hmm.
But like, just this is a really weird route to me. The library card kind of threw both of them off of the route that I would have still taken the normal route, even with a library card, just because it's like, yeah, I have a library card, but that's for like big routing changes, like, coming out of catacombs or
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Like when you're in a when you're in a dead end, essentially it's just your way to get out of a dead end without having to backtrack as much. But and we're seeing everybody's favorite item check in the entire game. It's Clock Room Puzzle.
This one's not as bad.
Yeah, first castle's not too bad.
When we built the Wanderer extension, which consists of 69 nice checks, I left this one in. I took Reverse Clock Puzzle out.
Thank God.
Like this one doesn't take that long, and it's really easy to get in here. We have a bug fix for the shift line stuff.
Oh yeah, because in the normal game you can just randomly just like do because the rooms are like misaligned or something like that. You can just shift line out of bounds and then soft lock. That was fun. That happened in Tournament.
That happened in Tournament, and it was so funny because I actually still have a clip of that saved where it was Jupiter Climb, Talik, and I. I was the only one who didn't soft lock there. There's Soul of Wolf at the Cloaked Knight.
Not bad. I mean that is progression potentially because Soul of Wolf unlocks a couple of locations, specifically the Jewel Sword location in the first castle. It unlocks the Barrel Circlet location in the second castle. Does it unlock anything else?
No, not in this preset.
I think you're right, yeah.
But like, in that tournament, like Talik and Jupiter both soft locked there. I just kept going, but you were like, oh, and there goes Eldritch. He won. Congratulations, Eldritch. And you immediately got onto everybody's case. It's like, we either need to remove this check or...
Yeah, because like, we weren't 100% sure exactly why it happened. And we were trying to figure out like, okay, is this consistent? Is there like some sort of, anything we can do to prevent it from happening, like skill wise? Like, is this just a skill issue? Like, is it because you backdashed? But it turns out it's like you can walk through the room and walk out and still get it sometimes based off of your subpixels, I believe. So
yeah, if I recall correctly, Talik even flew through there and he got locked. So
yeah, it's a rough one. Thankfully, that soft lock doesn't exist anymore.
Not in Randomizer.
Yeah, in the vanilla game, it can happen, but there's no reason to ever go into that room, like ever, unless maybe you're playing a really janky like puzzle or like a bingo or something. But nobody plays bingo for Sotn yet, at least.
Coming soon in fall of 2024.
We'll see. I got some ideas. Especially if the Xenia stuff, like the Xenia randomizer stuff, keeps getting better. There's a non-zero chance I might get people on Xenia instead of BizHawk, but we'll see.
I do, I do want to point out that it's very interesting to me that we have these map colors now. Something that kind of came. Go ahead.
Hold on 1 second. I'm getting a call.
Yep.
It was nothing, apparently. Okay, cool.
Oh,
I normally
they wanted to contact you about your car's extended warranty.
Normally, I don't answer calls ever because it's 99% robots anyways, but my car's in the shop, so I need to pick up the phone in case they call me about some stuff, so.
But yeah, we have the map colors on the launcher now. We're still working on getting that implemented into the website, but it's nice to be able to see these red and green and purple maps.
Oh, it's cool. Yeah, I'm a big fan of like all of the small little customizations and stuff that's happening in Sotn. Especially when you see like other retro games in their randomizer communities. I always like to compare it to Super Metroid because Super Metroid has had a randomizer longer and is a little bit more free due to just the architecture of the Super Nintendo as opposed to the PlayStation.
Yes.
So they have stuff like full map randos and stuff like that. But a lot of the customization tools, like, we're not necessarily terribly far off.
No, and that's a concerted effort, right? I consider SMZ3 to be the best randomizer available.
I mean, as far as the scope of the project, I'm like most impressed by it for sure.
Yeah. Now, that's not to say that I don't think that we're, that far behind. I think that we are the second best randomizer on the planet. It's just, they have more and more interesting features. And what I like to do is I like to think like, okay, since we've, started doing the randomizer ourselves and all that, we've added a lot of things that a lot of people have been asking for a long time. Infinite Wing Smash, we're adding a new option that opens all the shortcuts. We've added the no freeze on picking up relics and stuff. So
yeah, all of those quality of life / like gameplay changes I think are definitely fun ways to help keep the game fresh for a lot of people, especially when they play super often. And like, they have the benefit of their game being on Super Nintendo, which like we cannot stress enough is like a huge benefit because I think the Super Nintendo's like entire chipset and stuff is like decompiled or like known. Like
yes.
So like if you wanted to, you could do a perfect recreation of the hardware itself. Where I don't believe the PlayStation is fully
no, it's not
like known in the same way. So making like hardware perfect like emulation is like not super doable on PlayStation yet, but it is what it is.
Obviously these things will all get better once the decomp is done, but
True.
we don't know how long.
I mean, it's going. It's definitely going.
They're pushing. They finished a lot of the Richter overlays, so we're getting close. We're getting close to the halfway point on that one, but until then, it's up to the concerted effort of the few of us to just try to make this randomizer the best that we can possibly make it in the meantime. And
I mean, part of the whole reason that this tournament exists is just to show off all of the cool new stuff in the randomizer. So like these presets didn't exist a year ago.
No.
And a lot of that is due to concerted efforts from community members that are, putting in all of the work all the time into making new cool stuff possible. So
yeah. Like, and especially, like, it doesn't even have to be that big of a contribution. We have Biz Murphy, who works on the Sotn Decomp project, but he also has contributed to the randomizer. Main Memory, she put in the code for the per zone music rando. So, like, there's a lot going into it.
Yeah. It's always nice that my dumbass that doesn't know anything about programming can reap the rewards, but, I try and help wherever I can about just like understanding the game itself, I guess, and how stupid and dumb and broken it is. And even with my like 10 years of game knowledge, there's still stuff that like I learn new stuff about this game and then forget it the next day all the time.
I do it too. Trust me.
I have learned and then forgotten and then relearned more things about this game than like I've learned about anything else in the world, really.
Yeah.
And this game just has that depth to it, so.
Just the other day, I ran into a platform that I didn't know you could stand on. I was like, I did not know you could stand on that platform.
There's tons of stuff like that, yeah.
Now, we do see that our heroes here, our racers, they have gotten 2 Vlads during that conversation. They've gotten Form of Wolf, or Soul of Wolf and Power of Wolf, and not much else. Like
Merman statue is the only other thing that can like maybe push the complexity forward at this point. But they don't have the Jewel of Open yet to get into the caverns, so that's kind of not really a thing. So as of right now, it's just kind of like check the whole castle vibes, and they're both really close as far as like total progression in that regard. I think Ren has done slightly more checks up to this point.
Yeah.
And Ghost
But,
Card,
like,
you know, you do need to collect those familiar cards if you're used to Bounty Hunter. It's not because they give you Vlad relics, but because you're looking for the demon or nose demon to help you out in the mines later.
yeah, well, the mines and the reverse mines.
True,
Keep
yeah.
in mind that because of tourist, reverse mines also is a check now. So
I forgot the combat knife can protect from projectiles. That's not true. You're making that up. That's not in the game, is it? Why? What? Since when? Why do you know this? I'm telling you, there's so much random bullshit in this game. Like, why is that a thing?
well, wasn't it just the like it was about a month ago we found out that Stone Mask halves damage from certain sources
Yeah.
for no reason.
It feels like it's one of those things that they put into the game like as like a half measure almost. Like they wanted to flesh it out and like give it its own like unique identity, and then they just didn't, because it's like not mentioned anywhere in the game.
Now we just saw Holy Glasses on the other side of Minotaur and Werewolf, so we get to see early second castle here.
True. Oh, and we're seeing, yeah, so I thought that they did the same number of checks, but I wasn't paying attention. Ren did Alrox's quarters into just beelined it to Chapel, something like that. The routing was slightly different.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I'm doing what I can and then going to second castle probably. Like I'm trying to clear out all I can in the first castle, because you are gonna have to come back here later most likely. Like it's clear that like Jewel of Open or something is in the second castle, and then you're gonna have to like backtrack back and forth. But you have the library card, so it's not the end of the world. Maulblung Sword was also found for Sugden, which is like, you know, if you're going to go out of your way for a better damage source, Maulblung and like Alucard Shield would be probably it. Everything else is like, you know, whatever.
Exactly. This is an interesting seed. I would have lost.
Who's to say, you know? The seed's not over. It's only been 17 minutes in. And as we saw in that last seed, sometimes it just comes down to the very last decision. So,
yeah, true. Here we see Renantral going into Olrox's quarters, doing a little bit of the zigzag here.
that is also one of those things about these longer presets with more total checks is like you have to be very locked in to like, okay, which checks have I done? What's the most efficient way to get all these checks done? I'm a big fan of relying on the tracker for a lot of it, just to keep yourself sane.
Yeah, like the only reason that I stick to one universal route in these is just so that I can make sure that I got all the checks without having to check the map all the time.
It's true, yeah. Like relying on the tracker helps out a lot. Just to keep your brain focused on like the here and now for like, okay, I'm going to do these checks and then I'm going to do this. And then you're like, okay, what do I do next? Open the tracker, open the map.
Yeah. I do agree with your post in chat there, though. This game is fun. It is. This game has phenomenal movement. Like, this game over a lot of other games that I've played, and we're talking like, I've played racing games, I played games like Borderlands, which has really good movement. You know, there's a lot of games out there that have really good movement, but Symphony of the Night has some of the most satisfying movement to execute.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Like, one of the other games that I've poured thousands of hours into is Super Smash Bros. Melee, and the reason that game exists as like a competitive game and is still played to this day 20-something years later is because the movement feels so good to execute. It's not necessarily that the game has crazy movement. There's plenty of games with wild and ridiculous movement. It's the tactile feeling of executing it and then seeing it displayed on the screen in front of you and getting that dopamine hit. Like, I've been playing this game for a very, very, very long time. I've been speedrunning it for a very long time. I still get a dopamine hit from like being able to execute certain strats for sure.
Yeah, because like, okay, using Melee as an example, when you start hitting those perfect wave dashes with a really floaty character, It's so good.
Oh, for sure, for sure. And I mean, Symphony of the Night has a very similar feeling with like how smooth you can move out of wing smashes, constantly having like momentum conservation, front slides. Like there's so many options available to you that the game like really does open up.
Yeah. You know, front slides, one of my favorite techs in Symphony of the Night. Absolutely just like when you can convert that into like, you know, transforming into bat at that maximum velocity and those kinds of things.
Oh, for sure. Now, what is Ren doing?
Ren is going insane. Going back.
Did he
for a
forget
check?
it? Oh, he must have forgotten that check. Yeah. What is he? Is he?
I was like, Ren, are you all right, man?
Maybe his
Are you
controller's
Rando
acting
right
up.
now?
He might be having controller issues or something.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, I think Sugden already did all these checks. Well, maybe not, because Sugden didn't get the gas cloud, but maybe he saw that the gas cloud was there and then skipped it. I don't know. There's no
I can
need.
see a
Yeah.
case for skipping gas cloud here. Like,
I do like what Sugden did there. Saw that that was potentially a library card, but then remembered, wait, I have a library card. There's no reason to grab that. Just a minimal amount of time save, but shows that he is totally locked in. Because if you weren't paying attention and you were just like head empty, you go, ooh, library card maybe, and then you pick it up, even though you already have one. And when you have a duplicator, it's actually worse overall for your menus.
menuing.
Yeah, because you can menu faster if you only have a singular item in that slot, because then it replaces the item that you replace. When you equip something over a slot, if you only have one of it, you can constantly switch back and forth without having to do additional menuing, is the long and short of it. And I said that very terribly. But you get what I'm
Pressing
saying.
the direction in the middle of them, that's the part that takes up the extra time for that.
Ooh, Jewel of Open found in the Inverted Castle Keep. Honestly, I would be tempted to go back to the first castle after that, but with library cards in your inventory, maybe not. Maybe you at the very least grab some like warps or something to make the time in the second castle more efficient, more worth it. Because the odds of you finding something in second castle as well, or doing the majority of the second castle, is still relatively high. So
Yeah, the only check in second castle that this opens up is, like we said, the Black Marble Gallery meal ticket. Also, getting those warps could be super relevant because he can go the entire right side route, complete all the way through Galamoth, and then he can library card back, do all of his Jewel of Open checks down there, and then reverse library card to come back to second castle and do left side.
yeah, true, very true. Yeah, honestly, I think I would probably go at least to the Allrox warp. Just to have it, and then maybe that would be where I'd consider library carding out, or maybe I would go all the way into where is a spot that you would go to that is like kind of annoying to get back from? Maybe Galamoth? I don't know, like, but that's pretty late in the second castle. But
Yeah, it just depends on how far you're comfortable with going in these kinds of presets, because again, they only have 2 Vlads, right? Like,
yeah,
maybe you want to get another Vlad before you leave second castle, or, you know, whatever. It's just, it depends on the person, on the player, and how confident that they are on this being the correct route for them. Now here we see Renanchel finally entering the second castle. I don't know that Sugden is ahead or behind. This is really difficult because there has to be at some point at which they diverged and like Ren got ahead on a check or 3.
yeah, something like that.
Neither of these players is known for sitting around doing nothing during their races. You know, they're constantly moving. They're moving throughout the castle. They're doing item checks, relic checks. Ren getting that Jewel of Open. Does he return?
Yeah, it's really a tough call for sure. But Sugden with a ton of mana prisms. Honestly, I would consider taking off the duplicator and just using them to get them out of your inventory, just to make your menus better. But
Like,
this
usually
is for those that are just now wondering what Crash Course is. I was just going to give a brief rundown that this preset starts the players with Soul of Bat, Duplicator, Buffalo Stars, a bunch of really powerful equipment. The catch is that the seeds are quite long due to the fact that they need to check almost every single item location in the game. It's pretty much like you're checking everything that you can, and whatever you find, you then route around that. The total number of checks is the same as like adventure plus 16, you said?
13.
13. I remember numbers very well. Hence why every time I play a randomizer, even if I've played it 100 times, I'm like, what's the complexity in this? I don't know, like 12, 4? I don't know. Something. It's somewhere in between there, probably. But yeah, so long story short, these players just have really good movement, and they're just going to be moving around the castle, trying to check as many things as quickly as possible, and then routing around that. Right now, both of them pretty much have the same relics, and it seems like Sugden might have a slight lead in total number of second castle checks.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
We'll see if that ends up mattering, because then it could just come down to a routing decision of, like, you know, going left versus right in a specific spot, or when do you go back to the first castle, since they both have the Jewel of Open, which was found in the second castle. So did that Ghost Dancer just jump out of bounds?
Yep.
I love this game.
Ghost Dancer's like, nope, I'm out.
That's awesome.
Oh god, you know, and it's so funny because like when you start playing with elements of this game, you start getting these really weird things, kind of like what you see during chaos runs, right? Like where the enemies spawn with weird palettes and all that stuff. It's so fun.
I like I like saying quite often that this game doesn't like being manipulated in any sort of way. Like, this is a very fickle game when it comes to like ROM hacking. So like making any of this work at all in and of itself is like a ton of hard work and like dedication. So, you know, it's one of those things where you never want to be too you never want to be ungrateful for the amount of work that's gone into making any of this stuff possible, for sure. Because like this game, it'll crash under like a lot of weird circumstances and stuff. So like, or just the game is like unplayable, or like the music, the sound effects, everything is all garbled up. So Silver Ring found for Ren at Akmadon, which means Sugden chose to skip Akmadon, but still went to the right side. What?
Yeah, Sugden climbed the Royal Chapel and went to Trio instead. And skipped Center Castle.
That's interesting. Oh, Dragonhelm. Perfect. You can put that on, even though you started with Dragonhelm. But Sugden's chasing complexity here. That's what it was.
Okay, so he says, I got Jewel of Open. I'm going to chase complexity. That makes sense.
I mean, it turns out that might not even be the correct play with another ring found in Second Castle. So it's possible that the Jewel of Open ends up not mattering for now, and it might end up mattering later once you find like Mist or something like that. So yeah, skipping Akmadon is wild. It's like he's quick. He's pretty quick and easy, in and out.
The only problem with Akmadon that I have is that he takes so long to die.
True. I guess, yeah, the death animation is like 20 seconds long. So, but I mean, if you're Sugden, you're probably going down. Taking the elevator yet again. I mean, just take the stairs, my man. It's good for your health. Gotta get your steps in.
Yeah, you got to show us that 27-point walking animation that they work so hard on.
Yeah, that's one of those, like, once Sugden knows that, like, hey, the elevator's actually slower than just, like, backdashing, I don't think Sugden would ever make that mistake again. But it happens, you know? If you don't know any better, you think to yourself, elevator go fast, I'll take elevator. But, yeah, we're going to see probably a branching path for a while now, if I had to guess. Like, I don't know if Ren is going to do the same thing, where check the location here that's guarded by Jewel of Open and then library card. Maybe he will.
I don't see him doing it. I think that he stays in Second Castle.
They both grab the dragon. You guys, you start with the dragon helm. It's your starting equipment. Why would you pick it up?
Rando brain is real.
It is real. I was complimenting them too on not getting extra items that they didn't need, but you know, whoa, Sugden, yeah, you might need that. You might need that. But it's just fairy card. Yeah, you're hoping that that's a demon card, because then that can like kind of help soft confirms for you that you made the correct choice going back. Because the odds of it being like a dead end with multiple steps is pretty unlikely. It can happen, but it's relatively unlikely in the randomizer.
Yeah. I don't know how I feel about either of these routes. Like, I feel like there's been gross misplay all around.
It's tough. This is one of the hardest presets, in my opinion, to route because you have so many options available to you, and like your movement is really fast as well. And like with the library card also given to them at the very beginning, it's like, man, how do I optimize all of this? And it turns into one of those things where you try and optimize everything and you end up optimizing nothing, kind of thing. Like you're trying to play to all of your strengths, but you're not like focusing on like doing one thing particularly super well. I mean, outside of the movement, these guys are moving very, very well.
I mean, okay, so equipment extension gives us 90 checks, 90, which is an insane amount to us. Tourist is 103.
Yep.
And it's like, with 103 checks, trying to chase complexity like this, it feels like, okay, yeah, but what about all the crap you left behind?
Finding miss. And that's out of logic as well, because you're supposed to have holy symbol to get that check, like in logic. So Sugden might honestly be fine here because it's possible. Like, let's say rings were the next step in the complexity chain. It might end up not mattering because it could be rings that leads to like snorkel.
Yeah.
Which is possible.
Every time you find a progression relic there, you just want to grab it. Like you can count on it's probably something that you need.
Yep. Very much so, yeah. I was also going to say just a general statement about the progression of randomizers as a whole, Sotn randomizer in particular, is like back when the Sotn randomizer first was established and people were racing it and whatnot, there was a very large discrepancy in like average execution, I feel like, between like the top players who were practiced and like had been speedrunning for a long time, and then like the newer players who were just now getting into playing the game or whatever. Nowadays, I feel like everybody has like really good execution as like a baseline. And then on top of that, you have to gamble on like which direction do you go? How many relic locations do you skip? Things of that nature. How many item checks are you planning on doing? So it turns what used to be, in my opinion, relatively safe races, if you were just the better player in execution, into very scary, anybody can win a lot of these races because it does come down to maybe getting a little bit of luck going your way, but also just whoever is more practiced in the randomizer and what the randomizer wants from you usually ends up on top, just because like the baseline execution is already so good across the board.
Yeah. And you know what? We also see that being represented in the any percent races that have come back recently. And I'm very happy that those races have come back because it's important for these players to keep up with that skill on that level, right? You know, it's one thing to speedrun the game and chase your PB and that kind of thing. It's a completely different thing to do the exact same thing, but you're racing other people.
Oh, yeah. I mean, also no reset strats are like very different in Sotn as opposed to like going for a PB or going for world record or whatever. Like if you want the consistency of going fast, you do play things slightly differently. And if you're really feeling yourself, you go for crazy movement maybe, but oftentimes you end up just like going for the safe, consistent thing that's like, okay, maybe I lose a quarter of a second here, but
yeah,
still worth just going as fast as you can without making too many mistakes. And like that's a good skill to have for sure.
Yeah.
I also think there's a merit in like having a set thing to practice and to work on, because like really getting your hands used to a specific set of movement options or a specific like movement chain that you go through and practicing that over and over again can just help you be more consistent in all sorts of different areas of Sotn.
Yeah, like it helps with your bat movement. It helps with understanding the complexities of the dashing and the MP management if you're doing glitchless. There's a lot of these elements that are carried over between speedrunning and randomizer play that don't necessarily carry in the reverse.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things where I think like you can be a really solid randomizer player without having ever speedran the game, but I also feel like if you started as a normal speedrunner and then pick up the randomizer, you're going to be at like a huge advantage overall. And could this possibly be the demon card? Nope. It's sword card. Still no demon in sight.
We love Zorlo though.
Oh, he's the homie. He's the bro. He's sword bro for a reason.
That's
Zorlo the
right.
sword bro.
But yeah, like I agree though that like what we've seen, especially since the Lycan tournament, like that's really where it started to pick up on how fast racers started moving. Once the Lycanthrope tournament came around, everybody kind of jumped in and they started, you know, doing all of this advanced tech. They started doing infinite wing smashes and shield dashing and all of this. And it closed the gap. And when I only recognized this because while that Lycanthrope tournament was going on, I had to go on hiatus. You know, like I started at about the same time as God's Child playing the randomizer.
Yep.
But while I was gone, everybody else leveled up really big, and then like I just wasn't able to keep up anymore. Like I don't do too bad my own self, but I see these players out here doing some really crazy stuff, like the Hellfire to Silver Ring and all that, and I'm just like, nah, no, I'm good, thanks, no.
Yeah, I think it does go down. Just goes to show that like sometimes putting in dedicated practice into the game really does pay off. I mean, the most recent tournament was won by a top 3 any percent speedrunner, the Swarm. So like,
Yeah.
What learning death skip does to a motherfucker. True, Talik, very true.
Yeah, I am constantly impressed with the new tech that they post in the long library, and I'm just kind of sitting there. I'm like, you know, I have to look at each one individually and just be like, will I bother learning that?
Yeah, it's also tough when this is my perspective at the very least when it comes to learning randomizer tech is like you need to be up to date on almost all of it, or else it ends up like not mattering because like how often does, you know, this specific thing come up? Is the not risk reward, but I guess the opportunity cost of taking the time to learn how to do this one specific thing just because it comes up 1 out of every 100 seeds, is that even worth it? But if you learn all of the small little tricks over the course of, you know, many seeds, then it becomes worth it. So it's one of those things where it kind of has to be all in.
Yeah, like, you know,
or if the tournament is one particular preset only, then you can like focus on the preset specific tech. Like Lycanthrope was a great example of that.
Yeah. Now, if I could have a single preset tournament, absolutely 10 out of 10, I would want to see it on Big Toss.
Oh yeah, Big Toss is probably the next up as far as like presets that we haven't seen a tournament for, but has the potential for a lot of that specific tech.
Yeah. Like just knowing which enemies can send you which way depending on how you hit them or they hit you, using the toadstools correctly and doing that kind of tech. I think that Big Toss has a lot of tech in it that people are just missing out on because nobody races it.
Yep. It's understandable. I mean, with 39 total presets or whatever possible, it's not every preset is going to get its day in the sun all the time, but who's to say that in the future people don't wise up to it? The Big Toss meta might be here sooner than you might think, you know?
Yeah. You know, obviously leg day, huge potential in leg day too. We just don't see enough of it in tournaments, and that's why I wanted to make it part of mine, but I couldn't just have leg day because then, you know, every race would be leg day.
Yeah, it's one of those things where finding the exact balance for especially a multi-preset tournament can be difficult because you need enough presets in there for the picking and banning system to make sense, but you also don't want too many where the skill and like dedication required is spread too wide where players don't even have a chance to practice everything efficiently. So
right.
This is the part of Crash Course that anytime I've ever played it, I start to zone out where I'm just like doing checks for like 20 minutes and none of them are anything in particular that are that's helping me.
No, yeah, like this is the middle ground, right? Like this is where it's like there's nothing exciting in Crash Course because there's nothing.
For a while, and then all of a sudden, oh wait, it's the end of the seed.
Yeah.
Because that's the other thing is like Sotn found Mist a while ago, and like in any other preset, you're like, okay, I'm going to do just a couple more checks, and then I'm going to go do the thing that was locked behind Mist. But those couple more checks end up being like a 15-minute detour. And all of a sudden, Ren has 4 of the 5 Vlads.
Yeah.
Because 2 of them were just found here in the second castle that Sotn doesn't have.
And Tooth of Vlad at Reverse Spikebreaker, there at the Reverse Catacombs Elixir, that's pretty big. That means that, Sugden's gonna have to go really far out of his way to find that.
Yeah, it's one of the deeper checks in the second castle. Even if regardless of which side you choose, it's like the halfway point at the very least. So at this point, it's looking like a possible 2-0 if Ren decides to go back to the first castle anytime soon to finish out this complexity chain here, because what is even left for him? I guess he doesn't know that Mist is back in the first castle, so that's like the only thing left that could be bait that's left in the second castle for him is like finding Mist here, but he doesn't know that it's actually just in the first castle. So as soon as he decides to go back to the first castle, I think he'll quickly find that he has everything he needs to finish the game and do every single check.
Yeah. Meanwhile, Sugden is chasing all of these, complexity checks.
And the question is, if he finds the final Vlad just at one of these higher complexity locations, is that going to be his cue to go back to the second castle? I don't think so.
No, he'll finish checking first castle.
And Ren just library carded this. Could be it. It's all going to depend on what Ren decides to do routing wise back in the first castle, because there is still a lot left in the first castle, but we'll see. I mean, yeah, library card here from Sugden makes sense because the other mist check is in the library, so. We'll see where this leads, because, that's the other thing that's, Wait, did Sugden already do that check then and I just missed it? Probably. Otherwise, why else would you be in the reverse castle right now?
I mean, maybe?
It must have been when we were yapping. It surely happened when we were yapping.
Maybe
he did. It was nothing.
He's going to Starlight now.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, according to Nightstorm, there was nothing at Soul of Bat. So.
Yeah.
Okay, then that makes sense. That means that the complexity is locked behind the rings. Oof.
Oh, there it is. That's the complexity.
No, it is locked behind Mist. Oh.
See, and this is why I constantly tout the benefits of always, just go check Nunchaku. Nunchaku is the easiest check to get to that has the potential to ruin a seed.
So the complexity is something like Snorkel at Holy Glasses, right? Something like that?
Something insane. Like,
the thing is, Ren is... I think Ren is going to, because he's going down right now, he's going to find Mist, and he's probably just going to do all the Mist checks immediately because he's only missing one relic.
Yeah.
So as soon as he finds Mist, I think he will probably soon find the other checks. Meanwhile, Sugden has 30 checks left before finding the next two Vlad relics, where Ren only has
I don't chase
4.
complexity. This is why I can't do it.
Yeah.
I don't chase complexity in these presets until I have the randoms.
Yeah, it really is probably the safe call. It's like a good heuristic. Yeah, both of the missing Vlads are in the second castle. It's Reverse Spikebreaker, and I don't remember what the second one was. I think it was in Coliseum, I think. Reverse Coliseum.
Yeah, it was
at Death? Okay, then... those are close together if Sugden decides to go that way, but we'll see.
Yeah, it looks like he's doing reverse Clock Tower first instead, though.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, Renanchal has a very linear route in front of him. Going into Caverns with Jewel of Open is extremely just this is the way that we go.
He might just be doing these checks and then reverting back, maybe? Maybe he's choosing... Yeah, he's just reverting back. He's skipping the worst check in the game.
Yeah. Which, I mean, you absolutely should. Every single time.
Puzzle. Just screw it, man. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, Sugden. It's not worth it.
Too much of a time waste.
Yep. Ren, does he do the me? No, he sees it for sure. You definitely see the Nunchaku check down there. Yep. And this might be the beginning of the end. However, Sugden is already in the second castle. So,
and he's headed that way.
Ren will at the very least have to do a reverse library card, but I mean, yeah, the reverse library cards being in this preset do help Ren out a lot here. He's not library carding immediately, so maybe he is scared that that's just too, it's just a random relic or something.
Maybe he's doing Spikebreaker first.
Maybe. I could see that as well. It's close. It really will come down to how Sugden decides to route this part of the second castle here.
Still no demon cards, so he can't open this door.
Yeah, which, I mean, it's bait, so...
Yeah.
Unless he randomly stumbles upon demon card, which I don't think he can at this point.
Nah.
It could be demon card is at glasses, and then behind there is snorkel as well. I don't know what the minimum complexity is, but according to that last seed, minimum complexity don't mean shit.
Right? Minimum is nothing to me.
Yeah. Hey, minimum complexity says it could be minimum 4, but I counted 12.
You know, and this is an argument that I've had with a lot of people, and you know, I will say that they are effectively right on this point. But you know, everybody constantly talks about how like casual and OG, they're all no complexity. It has no complexity. There is no complexity because the minimum is 1. It's no complexity. And I'm like, yes, but the average complexity is 5 for casual. The average complexity is 7 for OG. You know? Yeah.
But the complexity also means something different when you have guaranteed item locations like the Spikebreaker and Silver Rings and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah, because those are counted as part of the complexity chain. So
yeah, but you know where they are, so.
Yep.
Oh, Holy Symbol was at Spikebreaker. That's what it was. So that's part of... So then Echo might be at glasses
Renantrel now knows where he needs to go.
Yeah.
See, once you get missed, you understand that check is locked behind Holy Symbol. If you find Holy Symbol, you know that you've skipped complexity, and you just need to go wherever mist takes you.
Oh,
but he doesn't
no!
No, he's leaving it behind!
Sugden just grabbed Nose Devil card. I wonder if he's going to get tripped up by that.
Oh my god. Renantrel is leaving behind the nearest missed check to where he landed with reverse library card.
But he's checking this one first? Did he forget that it's a check, maybe?
Yeah, maybe he forgot that Starlight is even a thing?
Yeah, that's the only thing I can think of, because unless he's going to reverse library card again right now, which would be strange that he would do it that way, but if he's regular library at this point, okay, we're chill. We're fine. We're chill.
Wait.
Everything's fine.
Does he go up or down?
He's going to go down. He's going to go down. Yep. He knows.
Okay.
He's a knower.
He's a knower. Yeah. He's in the know.
I guess the idea is that check is closer to the end of the game, so if it's that one, it's technically faster to beeline for it.
Yeah, maybe.
Strange that he's choosing to do these checks first and not the ones in the first castle at all.
Or Suna could be right. He could have just realized, oh, wait, I needed to go back for that. There it is. He's got all 5 Vlads. He's on his way out, which means that Renantrel steals this 2-0.
Yeah, it was close, though. Like, there is a world where Ren decides to do the first castle missed checks, and like that might have been enough time for Sugden to find everything, but it was close. Yeah. Very, very close. It might not seem super close, but Sugden is literally like 4 checks away or something like that from finding the next 2 Vlads. So
yeah, like he's about to hit death, he's about to find one of them, and then he wouldn't be too far away from the other one.
Yeah, they were 2 very close races. Like, it was a close 0-2, a close 2-0, however you want to call it.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know that's a meme amongst many fighting gamers, but it's true, man. Sometimes it's close.
The only fighting games that I really know how to play are like King of Fighters and Smash Brothers. That's all I got.
Fun fact about King of Fighters is like 75% of the fighting games on PlayStation 1 are King of Fighters clones for whatever reason. Yep. Like, very few choose to copy like Street Fighter or anything like that. So if you pick up a random PlayStation 1 fighting game, check to see if there's a short hop. There's like a 90% chance there's a short hop in the game.
I also like Bloody Roar too, so you know.
Dude, it's actually so good. It's so good.
So All right, here we see Sugden doing what?
I'll say 49 minutes is well under average for
Yes.
for Crash Course.
Yeah. Getting here. Yeah, King of Fighters is not easy to play, for sure.
Oh, Sugden also is choosing to skip the mines entirely? So this
He's going
actually
the wrong way.
Yeah. Close. It was close, but you know.
And
Yeah,
here we
according
see
to
Ronaldo
Crazy,
choose
the
some vials
fastest
back.
Crash Course completion was 43:24 by him.
Mhm.
So the fact that this is only a handful of minutes off from that just goes to show that this is an incredibly fast seed.
Yeah,
Well
yeah.
under average. I think last time I played Crash Course and actually finished, it was like an hour and 20 almost.
Yeah. Crash Course is just one of those presets that if you do it safe the way that I normally do it, it's like it's an hour and a half. But these guys just they gun for everything.
Yep. And you kind of have to. Especially if you're up in a 2 out of 3 type tournament scenario. I feel like taking some risks makes sense. Doing what you can. Ren, funnily enough, didn't end up really taking risks outside of, I guess, choosing to do second castle missed checks without doing the first castle missed checks. But, you know, it makes sense. Like, you're already in the second castle. If you find the last Vlad there, it technically is faster. And it's just a gamble at that point. You know, you're going to use the library card anyway, so it's the same number of, like, frames in the library card animation. So opting to use vial stacks, I'm pretty sure vial stacks are slower than just double Buffalo Star, but regardless,
Well, he also did them wrong, so
yeah. Regardless, GG's to Ren for the quick 2-0. Moving on into the bracket. Let's go.
Yep. That advances Renantial to the next stage.
Huge. Two very, very close races.
Yeah. Insanely close. Big Wentz energy.
Oh, yeah. I could see that.